Search is over, now welcome to First Mint. Looking for NFT content, look no further cause this is it. From Top Shot to blockchain, they got the data chops, analysis, and pack drops, the show's equator hot. LG and Phil D, the best amongst others. Best brothers to happen to balls is the Ball Brothers. So settle in cause it's time for the best show. Ayo Quad, who we reppin'? First Mint. Let's go.
Whoa!
Hey!
Wow!
What's up?
You know what
Phil,
I used to love?
Oh, go ahead.
Hold on, you cut off my. I was gonna throw it back within the first 5 seconds of the pod this week. Hold on, what were you gonna ask before I derail this thing into another planet?
I was gonna tell you something about mom and dad.
Oh, I was actually gonna tell you something about mom and dad. I was gonna tell you. Let me make it real quick because it came to mind right now when we're doing the intro. Another show that we were always like kind of turning on and not allowed to watch was Beavis and Butthead. I remember that was another one. Okay, Ren and Stimpy, Beavis and Butthead, things like that. But you know, I show my kids Beavis and Butthead now, and we laugh for hours. Like the way those guys
kids are like
talk.
more grown up though. Like your kids are like teenagers, like older teenagers. Like
that's right.
We were like 8. Like you were 12, which is like borderline, and then you're trying to make me watch it, which I was like 8. And man, honestly though, like that honestly made the show better. Was that I wasn't allowed to watch it? You know what I mean?
That's what always made it better. Exactly.
Yeah. I think when
as soon as we were allowed to, it was like forget about it. I didn't watch Cops after I left home. No chance.
No, like when you're young, like the stuff you're not allowed to do tastes so much sweeter once you actually get to do it. And especially, you know, being kids in the 90s, like the coolest thing, like where there was the most innovation was in like TV shows, right? There's no internet yet, or there's some internet, but it can't do anything. There's one family computer, so it's not that exciting yet. There's video games and there's TV. And like video games, the thing you can do is play like super like gory video games, which they were coming out with like really new, awesome ones every single time. Like I literally had like a game called Turok Dinosaur Hunter when I was like 10, where the first weapon you have is a knife and you just kill dudes like in the forest, and then you kill kill velociraptors with them, and you could get a shotgun. And then if you got the explosive shells for the shotgun and you shot a raptor, all its limbs came off. Like that was just, and I was like, this game's freaking amazing. And, you know, I was, whenever mom and dad would walk in the room, I'd always just pretend like I was climbing a tree or something like that. Like I'd just go do something else that wasn't killing people because I knew how bad it was. But yeah, we weren't allowed to watch Beavis and Butthead. Ren and Stimpy definitely is like way, like zero chance you're allowed to do that. But even Simpsons was on our you know.
Oh, that was on the hit list. Simpsons.
Just kind of BS.
Dad,
you know?
Actually, mom would never really say anything. Dad would just make the comment that he doesn't like that we watch these shows. I remember that's what it was. He doesn't like that we watch. It's not that we weren't really loud, but I remember when we were downstairs watching, the minute we hear footsteps, it'd be like, oh shit, change the channel. And then we try and like flip it to like the green forest or something like that. So yes.
I don't think like Simpsons wasn't that bad. And you know what's funny too, Phil, is that mom and dad would religiously watch Seinfeld, right? Because I think for like adults, early mid 90s, late 90s, Seinfeld was like the biggest show there'd ever been, right? And I recently rewatched, and mom and dad will watch that a lot, which is, you're adult, you can watch whatever you want. And sometimes we watch parts of it with them. We've got some fun stuff with our dad about, and our mom about like Soup Nazi and the strong shower that Kramer wants. Like we have a lot of
Beefarino or whatever.
Yeah, the Beefarino and the horse that Kramer has, keeps having diarrhea. And anyways, all these different inside jokes. But like I rewatched that recently, and most of the show is just them talk about their sex lives. It's just them talking about how horny they are. Man. And I was like, what the hell? Like, this is way worse than The Simpsons. Yes. Not that they like promote us watching it, but like The Simpsons is so tame compared to that in terms of like X-rated, subject matter. And I know they're listening. So see, we're definitely getting a text tomorrow afternoon about
even better,
whether it was allowed or not.
I wish you had them like dialed up. I wish we could like have a Jerry Springer moment where you're like, all right, dad has something to say about this. Now let's bring him in. And then he comes flying in here. Telling us, because you know what he's going to say. He's going to say, no chance is Seinfeld anywhere near as bad as shows like The Simpsons. I know that's what we're going to get. Guaranteed. You just set off fireworks now.
We need them. We need them in like Lifeline style. You know what I mean? Like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Like every show, there's 3 different lifelines we can use. One is like, is this true about what we're saying about what dad used to do? Number 2 is would mom swear if she said this sentence?
Oh, that's listen. But wait, hold on. See, I told you I would derail the whole thing. What were you gonna say about mom and dad when the show started?
I was gonna say that they still listen religiously because we got I texted them last week about something. I forget what it was, but it was like, hey, just so you know, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, wow, you texted us, you interrupted us watching the show. So they still like listen religiously. They just haven't, I think they're just like stealthy about it. I think it's a gros secret, that they're listening to it all the time.
A lot of people do listen to though that I didn't know. Like I'll have people just sending me messages like that was hilarious. Like I'm talking non-NFT, non-crypto. There's like randoms that we know from our past, including family members and stuff that message me, be like, yeah, that was hilarious.
Family members.
Not
Who
family
else?
Member.
What other family members? Wait,
actually,
you're saying some of our extended family?
Not our extended. That's
amazing. But you don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they do.
Like I didn't know your nephew listens to every show and he laughs his ass off in his room.
He texts me like, okay,
yeah,
no, it's not. This is this is good because we're clearly in like trying to transition. We don't really talk about Top Shot that much anymore. NFT is kind of dead, so we're just kind of having this like bro family show, which is good. And I agree with you. I get a lot of feedback from people that I know do not give a shit about NFTs, which is good. But what actually surprises me lately is how quickly I get the feedback. Like, we get off this
right away, man.
I go and I add a little 2-minute intro of me just being like, hey, on the show, blah, blah, blah. We talk about this and that. And then I kind of just, export that, takes 30 seconds, post it into Anchor, which usually loads into iTunes about 20 minutes later and in Spotify like 2 minutes later. And that's usually by about like 4 or 5 o'clock my time, Pacific time. And then at 6 p.m., I'll be like, oh man, what you said on the show was freaking hilarious. And I'm like, wow, like, what do you like? It's most people I thought listen to the show like during the daytime at work. Some people it's Monday night, they're sitting around, new First Mint pops up and they're listening. I love that. Thank you for
that's pretty crazy.
Right
and there's always, every time I see it come up, because I get notifications on YouTube, right? So when I see the YouTube pop up saying the First Mint just posted something and I go on there, there's almost always a comment already. Like it's never the same person either. It's always a different person that commented. We love YouTube comments. And there was a good one last week. I forgot what he said. But you sent it to me because I hadn't seen it by then. I hadn't gone on YouTube. But it was something, it's always pretty constructive feedback. And it's always, we say nobody in the States cares about hockey, and then we as Americans take that personally.
Oh yeah, anything, any kind of convicting opinion, people are just going to be immediately pretty pissed off about, or great to have something to say. I do want to give a shout out to Video.Universe, who does comment on like every episode, if not every second episode. Oh, is something really nice and positive. So thank you to Video.Universe. Not the only person who comments, but we don't get that many views on YouTube. Although some people, when I started First Mint, were really like, I need to listen to this on YouTube. Can you post it on YouTube? That's why we started doing that. Now it's nice we actually do it live. People get to watch us if they want. It's a small minority of our listenership, but cool that people actually do want to watch that. Phil, before we continue talking about how fantastic we are, and how much our parents love us and love listening to us, and how our fans really love us.
Just like every show, I think we say that. Yes,
I'm gonna keep on the tradition, I think, of the last couple shows where we've had a random surprise guest join us at some random point during the episode.
Get out of here!
And he's in the wings right now. And I'm warning you, to this guest, I don't know if you want it to be anonymous, but I can see you in the green room and I can see your camera. Okay, like I can see your face. So if you're good with that, okay, give me the thumbs up. I've never seen this person.
I'm late to the party today, so I hope this person hasn't been waiting too long.
Phil, we know this person incredibly well. Like they're very close to us. We're in a lot of chats with them, but I've never seen their face. And I don't know what I had in mind that they would look like.
Get out of here.
But what he looks like is shocking. I'm going to tell you right now. Okay, it's a huge shocker. Okay, I did not.
This is going to be someone in costume. Like this. Here we go.
So please welcome back to the First Mint. I'm sure he's been on the First Mint many times to talk about the subject matter that we're going to touch on for like a quick 10-15 minutes, because there's a bit of alpha going around right now in the NFL all-day streets. This is unrelated to our partnership with them, but I caught wind of this morning in the First Mint Discord that some prices on all day are going up. There's a little pump going on as the season gets a couple months away. So from all day, all night, please welcome back to the First Mint, SmurphDiesel.
Whoa!
Oh, see what he's a freak. No, I'm just
Smurf.
kidding.
No. Hold on.
Great looking guy.
Don't even say hi to
man.
Smurf.
Handsome man.
I have to say something. LG is the biggest liar on the planet, Smurf. Okay, you posted pictures in the Discord of yourself at like some animal zoo place where the animals are like in your car. Okay, and I remember I said LG because every time somebody kind of doxes themselves, I love to take a screenshot and send it to LG. Be like, "Yo, did you know this person looks like this?" And I sent pictures. I can even go back to text receipts. I sent those pictures to LG. I said, "Have you ever seen SmurphDiesel?" And he was in shock back then, and it looks like he's in shock a second time now, as if he's never seen you before. So because of those pictures,
you know what it is, though,
I knew
Phil?
what you looked like.
You know what it is that I don't know why, but until I see people, I just assume that they look like some kind of freak. And SmurphDiesel, you're handsome, normal looking guy. You know, just is good. You know, just is nothing. There's nothing. Maybe you're incredibly small or tall or massive or something like that.
Yeah, don't stand up for us. You don't need to do that. LG likes to get out of control.
He's in
5'10", 160.
There you go. This is average. You know, that's pretty good. You know, doing well. But I don't know, because SmurphDiesel, like your avatar is one of the wieners, right? So I kind of just think of you as a like not necessarily you look like that, but it's kind of like an ambiguity of the internet. But welcome, dude. I don't know if you've ever been on the live stream with us, because I feel like we would have seen your face then.
I don't think
welcome to the actual. It's not even a live stream; it's a pre-recorded show. So if you say anything messed up, we can take it out, or we can make sure it's in. But Smurf, speak. Tell us how you're doing, man.
I'm doing great, man. Monday. You know, can we talk about NFL all day? I mean, you're 12 minutes into the podcast, and this is the quickest I think you've got to talk about NFTs.
Actually, no. Recently, we did switch things up and go right into NFTs for some reason. I forgot what it was, but yeah, we usually don't get into NFTs until like the hour and 12-minute mark instead of
no. And I think what's going to happen is we're going to talk about NFTs, and then we're not going to talk about NFTs for a long time after this. Like there's going to be like at the very last 5 minutes of the show, I'll be like, Phil, we have to wrap up. Anyways, here's what's new in NFTs. Boom, boom, boom. See you later. But Smurf, you were posting this morning that some prices are doing well. On all day. I think we're like 90 days away, 95 days away from the start, or 80 days away or something like that from the start of the season. So it's kind of that point where NBA ends, where you know, you've got camps probably opening in what, like just over a month, right? Or just under a month, right? In July.
Yeah,
so,
you've got people reporting to OTAs and stuff right now. So you're getting a little bit of buzz.
Yeah, there you go.
And so the market's rising. What we're wondering is, it because at the end of the NBA season, is because we don't have Dapper withdrawal, right? So you got this play money, you can't take it out. I mean, people just are degens and they're not going to sit on it, right? They're going to go spend it on something. So is it that? Is it no new supply for all day? So really, we've had some hot packs, 14,000 of them, and that's been it for 3 months. And then you've got the off-season and in-season playbook spec and some Rumble speculation. I think it's all of those, a little bit all of those. What you can't discount the effect of is the Real Field D coming on your podcast a couple weeks ago and just declaring all day and the all-night space is dead. It's unbelievable.
How'd you like that?
So many people slide into my DMs like, what the hell is smoking?
I told you. I can almost promise
hibernating.
you those are the same people who DM me telling me or asking me if it was dead, then heard me say that and went right back to you and saying, is that true? So I can almost promise you that. Good time.
That's the bot. That's when you know it's time to buy. That's you know what
absolutely.
I mean? Like that's Phil is like a healthy bottom signal. That's how you can look at it. It's like, oh, Phil's like, is that platform dead? Then you should get to buying, because when he said that, would have been a good time to maybe scoop up a couple things, as is kind of what you're coming to tell us about, right?
Yeah, now that we're talking this through and now it's 2 weeks later and you're having me on to say that all day is not dead, maybe on the flip side, it's the time to sell.
Oh, whoa.
Okay. I think this is like the 4th show in a row where we just talk about us pumping and dumping stuff. And I'm going to say that every single time we've talked about this stuff, the advice has been terrible. So don't, like, nothing is financial advice.
Smurf, be honest. Are you leaving, not giving, man? Like, is this your way out? You're saying it's time to sell, but does that mean you're bailing out or what? Be honest.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
He's like, what's the best way I can do this? Let me go on the first mint and be like, give everyone great advice and then claim it was bad advice and, oh shit, I sold everything, I'm gone.
Yeah, every listing like an hour from now
because
is from
don't forget that article also came out that the NFL was furious at the losses and that they're owed a ton of
It was
money.
it was the players union. It was the players union that was suing them. Yeah, that was suing them because they didn't hit revenue targets that they were. Them and Rainmakers. It wasn't just Dapper.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they did the math, right? And all the players were owed like $1,000 or a few $1,000s each, and they never got it. It's like we're all in this together because everybody's about down the same, NFLPA and all day collectors. So.
Smurf, what's your obviously you and the crew run like a Tuesday night show on Twitter Spaces all day, all night. It's called to talk about like strategy. If you rewind a year when you guys kind of started doing that, or I think you maybe started a little later in the summer, but a year ago in the Discord, in First Mint Discord, you guys were giving some good what turned out to be good alpha of like, hey, you should be buying like these receivers, these running backs. They're only $3 or $4 each, and that turned into like a nice little windfall when the season started for people. A year later now, what's your kind of vibe on the platform, right? Like you're at the center of it, you're running a show for it, you're maybe buying stuff. What's your current vibe?
Yeah, good. Like I said, I think the fact that they haven't dropped any new moments, everything out there is just kind of being bought. A lot of thin floors, the rares of good players with only one moment in that tier. Those are getting bought up. You're seeing the floor rise 50% on that, and that's just end season playbook spec. We're looking at defensive players who they think are going to hit that 10 tackle milestone, or your offensive players who can hit 100 yards rushing, receiving, or 300 yards passing. Those are getting bought up. You're also seeing a lot of commons getting stacked of good players based on the offseason spec. So they're looking at, okay, who's going to be crafted next? And if you're getting those good players, the backup plan is, okay, if they're not crafted, then at least you have them for Rumble and for in season. So they're going to have some usage there. Right now, if you wanted to go buy something, you got to go look at those floors, and you got to make sure you're not getting one of those rares that's been pumped up 50%. I think you just kind of sit on it and you wait for that traditional pack drop announcement. And that's when everyone's going to rush to get, a few $100s in Dapper, and they're going to start listing all these moments, and then you kind of slide in there.
When do you think they're going to release anything anytime soon? Because I know we had Noah, the GM, on to do an interview with me where we talked about like, I think, series 2 wrapping up around the draft, and but we didn't, even I didn't get really much more information from that. Do you think, is it something where you think they'll start dropping supply when this new season starts? You think they've got some cool stuff up their sleeves? Because All Day kind of, pioneered the playbook last year, which was fantastic. That was a hit.
Yep.
Wasn't able to sustain like, a pumping market through the whole season, which I think is, the interest in the league obviously dies off after a couple months. So that's kind of a natural thing. But you think that they've got some cool stuff up their sleeve for this season, or just rolling out playbook again, or what?
Yeah, I think whatever changes they're making, they're going to wait until the new season. Like your girl Jane says, that when the new season starts, that's when they get the new users. So that's when they're going to roll out the new fun toys, right? And we're just buying our time between them.
My close and personal friend Janie Parasini. I was thinking about this morning actually that she bought a bunch of TFM merch. I remember her being posting a screenshot, being like whatever, a year ago, when we were like, we're selling merch, and we gave everybody like a free shirt, right? Who's in First Mint, and then buy hoodies and toques, beanies, hats, whatever. She was like, got mine on order, and it was like a screenshot of like, got the hoodie. And I just wonder. I mean, it's not like it's we weren't really like one of the main factors of like her downfall. Like we didn't like beef with her publicly or anything like that. But I do wonder if she ever like wears that. Right? It's like, yeah, First Mint. Like all they did was report on all the crazy shit that happened.
No, that thing was probably thrown in the fireplace outside or something.
Now available at her local Goodwill.
Yeah, not even.
I would love for First Mint to be big enough that there's a jersey burning. You know what I mean? I'd love for us to be at the level where people are so like, we're so notable, but also people are so mad at us that they feel the need to take a video of themselves burning a t-shirt or a hoodie.
That's fine. Yeah, no.
I think that's good. I think that's like you're doing something like kind of right in that situation, right?
What about the people early on in the Discord that did not like receive their t-shirt yet? Remember that? It was like week 1 of people joining the First Mint and buying the First Mint day 1, and people were like furious they didn't get the free t-shirt yet.
Yeah.
Remember that? And then the mob just like destroyed anyone who would ask that question. Shut up.
We have a good mob. We're very lucky, Phil, that you and I have a nice little mob in First Mint to kind of talk to the impatient people or defend us for any kind of controversy. But including SmurphDiesel, who's wearing one of the
there
new
you go.
shirts from
The
last
new
year.
ones, yeah.
Right,
Got mine.
New ones. Yeah, I've got the old one.
Oh,
here.
I've got the old one too. Yeah.
Phil's wearing AMP NFT.
AMP NFT. Look at that.
Yeah,
Look at that. You don't see too many of these around. AMP NFT.
Yeah, you don't see
baby.
too many.
There we go, Finn.
around,
Big shout out. I think there's only like 2
shout out
out
Finn
there, so.
and 90s as well. Smurf. So what right now, if I'm somebody who hasn't touched all day since maybe like Thanksgiving last year, I stopped playing playbook. I'm just kind of trying to figure out like the average kind of fan right now. The platform maybe dropped off, maybe played a bit of playoffs or something like that. And I'm looking to either get some of these moments because, like you're saying, they'll have a lot of utility for OTM Rumble or for some kind of new playbook or some other kind of thing. Or I want to buy them, flip them when the season starts because I think there'll be a pump. Or, it's prices are low. It's a good time to get in. They're not going to mint a lot of supply maybe next season. What should I be looking at? And be as specific as you like because, we're not going to front run this. People can take this, not financial advice. Okay. Don't do exactly what SmurphDiesel says. Just make your own decisions. But what kind of stuff am I looking at, right? You're saying guys who are going to get a lot of yardage next year?
Yeah. So look at your your fantasy redraft leaderboards, mock drafts, and those top guys are going to hit those milestones. Go ahead and spec them out. Make sure they haven't pumped. Make sure they
like
don't
who,
have
like
2 or
who,
3
like give me.
rares.
Yeah, we want names, man.
Yeah, I want
Names.
names, man. Come on, like that I only know.
Take
like
out
6
your
players,
fantasy
so, like,
notebook.
please give me,
SmurphDiesel's about to drop some bombs here.
Yeah, I literally took out my little post-it. So I'm gonna be like, just tell me who.
I don't want to say names per se, but
No, this is not. You can't. I'm just gonna
Dude.
read them.
We
from-
know
did
you.
you write
know
any
we
in
know
the
you're
Discord?
prepping all
Yeah,
that.
there you go.
Open that little
all right,
notebook of yours.
The
Let's
best
go.
Financial,
How can I
the
look at
best
your
financial
account?
advice I have for all day
There
right
we
now
go.
is if you have the Jolly Joker, you can go get one on secondary for like $50 or $60. Then you just go to Sniper
Wow.
and you get $1 moments. So when a $1 moment shows up, you just go buy it because that's
Smurf,
either
no, hold on.
burning-
What's your all day handle?
SmurphDiesel.
How come nothing shows up? There's no moments.
He doesn't
Oh,
want you to see what he
shit.
has, man.
Yeah.
Oh, he sold everything already.
He's having.
He wasn't joking. He's like, oh, I sold before seeing that.
Yeah. Does it have like a underscore or anything in it, or like a space?
No,
SmurphDiesel.
just
Exact
Smurf
same
Diesel.
way you have it now.
LG's gone fuzzy now.
Yep.
Things
Come
are getting
on.
bad
The
around.
D-
Oh
the-
man,
It's not
I'm
good.
losing
Here we
my
go.
mind.
We're about to
The
lose
D may
LG
not be
Smurf. You
capitalized.
ready?
He's pulling my
What's-
account. It's
there
just
he goes.
bogging him down.
There's a capital S? That's
Capital
ridiculous.
S, capital D. I mean, I'm looking.
It wouldn't
right
be.
now.
It wouldn't be
So-
case sensitive.
Okay, so I have stacked Josh
there we
Allen
go.
common and Cooper
You-
Cup
Oh,
common.
no, it is case sensitive. It is case sensitive. That's ridiculous. Okay.
That's outrageous.
Okay, let's see. Here we go. Newly received.
Wow.
Let's see what he's bought.
Oh, he's got the skins in the background too, though. Those background color things that they were.
Oh,
Yeah, so a lot of
nice.
these are just some of these are just $1 moments that I see on Sniper, and I'm like, okay, it's not going to drop below $1.
Is that what the
What-
floor is right now, Smurf? Is it really $1 for some moments?
No, so the floor is $2. So when someone goes to
Okay.
liquidate, they have to list for $1.
Oh, right.
About
okay.
half of the commons, or maybe a third, are $2 moments.
Mm.
So if you really want to sell that moment, you got to list for $1. And if you're someone that's on Sniper, boom, you get it. It's not going to drop below $1. So at the very least, you have something to burn when you need to.
How much did you get this Jalen Ramsey for? This common Jalen Ramsey. This new
I have
one.
no idea.
Maybe
Click
you
on
bought
it and
That
check
may-
the
okay,
history,
that-
man. It'll tell you.
Is it?
Yeah,
Is it going to
yeah.
show us? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No secrets
So that-
around here.
Oh, he
So
bought
that
it
may
3
have
days
been
ago
me.
for $3. $3.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that was me completing the Series 2 base set. I was about $40 away from it, so I just went ahead and completed base Series 2.
Okay.
Hmm.
When you say sniper, what are you talking about? When you use sniper, what does that mean?
So if you're on OTM and you go to
Oh,
NFL
okay.
All Day and then you go to Sniper, it'll show you the listings below market value.
Sniper. Here we go. Okay, so it's kind of like what Live Token used to have, right? Very similar.
Exactly.
Does
Yeah.
Live Token not
Deal.
have that anymore for Top Shot? Did that die?
They
Did
have
I
it.
miss that
He
somewhere?
has it for Top Shot. Just
Oh,
they never
okay.
did it for all day. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So this is filtered to so deals 5%.
Yep. All right. So when you see that $1 show up, you don't click the buy button. You click the all listings.
Okay, so I'll just do like this Justin Fields one. Yeah.
And then as soon as
$30
it
here.
pops, if you do it when it quickly pops up, that $1, it will not show up on the all listings. So then you just refresh like a madman until that $1
Oh, okay.
shows up. Then you click the $1, and then you're able to purchase it quicker than if you were to just hit that buy button.
Do I have to do anything else on the screen, or I just wait here for $1 to show up, or can I filter per dollar?
You just wait until. Yeah, not too many people are listening right now, so you're fine just to stay on the main screen and wait for $1 to show up.
How often do you do that?
All day.
I don't. I mean, if I'm on mobile, if I'm on like break or something, I'll just have it up. Or early in the morning is the best time to. You get up about 4 a.m. You just find someone.
It's okay, Smurf. You can say whatever you want. I stay play Dimension X all day, so I leave that thing on, and when it's time to refill your squares, I refill my squares, and I'm still going strong since October.
How about this, Michael Thomas? Michael Thomas is usually $4. He's got like a million listings at $4. Was $3 right now for his debut. Good. Is good. One of 9,000. No.
Who knows if Michael Thomas is playing again?
No,
okay.
Get this guy out of here.
Thanks. I haven't started my draft.
When you check next week, LG, there'll be more at $3. Let's put it.
Yeah.
Okay. I will throw some alpha into the First Mint Discord there. So
wow.
Maybe some people need to buy the
you don't get anything here.
Value for holders. Right. Okay. If you want some of that alpha, you got to go to OpenSea. You got to load up 0.12 ETH in your wallet. Or beg dollars and cents for one of his 14 different First Mint day one passes.
Or sign on to our Spaces is going to be Thursday, I think, until the season starts.
Oh wow!
We're going to do it on Wednesdays. Tuesday. No, so we want to do it Wednesday because that's when the new challenges are coming out. But apparently, a couple of my co-hosts watch Love Island. I don't know what are you guys into Love Island?
Phil definitely knows what
I watched the first season of the American one, and the next 2 seasons are on my list, but I'm not there yet. I've got too many like Housewives shows to watch. The Challenge, I'm not up to date on all that stuff. I'm too far behind right now.
I'm just confused. I assumed it got canceled when they killed off Jeffrey Epstein. But apparently it's still a show and it's still going on.
I thought you were going to say Jeff Probst. I'm like, dude, wrong show.
Wait, you're making a joke about how Jeffrey
I'm not. Anyways.
Pedophile Island is the same thing as the Love Island TV show.
It's not funny if I have to explain it, LG.
Because I don't follow reality TV, so I was like, wait, Jeffrey Epstein was on a reality show? I don't remember that, but maybe,
No, but they recently posted a picture of him with the Island Boys, whatever that means. That was weird.
Uh-oh.
Did you see that?
No, I don't know.
Bizarre. Apparently, when they were little kids, he hung out with them. I don't know.
Oh, no. Okay. Anyways, back to talking about buying internet sports cards. Okay, Smurf. Anything else we should know before we let you go? Because I know you got to hang with your kids or something like that. You got some business.
Yeah, I got to go. Yeah, to get the kids out of the yard and get them back in. I was doing a season 1 set review last week, and I'll just briefly mention this. So obviously the account value for those sets have plummeted like 50%. But the interesting thing was the set completions have risen on all of them 25%.
Wow.
So it's interesting that people are still collecting those sets and holding on to them for the long term. It's you would think when the account value just plummeted, people would say, or they get one set utility and then sell out of it. But people are starting to collect those sets.
I feel like it's a good time though, and again, it depends if I've done this many off seasons for Top Shot where I'm like, now's a great time to buy. And then flash forward 3 months and it was a terrible time to buy. So take this all with a grain of salt. This is a newer platform, doesn't have, 50 million moments, that same problem that Top Shot does. So hopefully the team's got something great for us this year. But I will say, if people are looking to do complete sets, I think the off season is the time. That's where you see the most capitulation. So I'm not surprised if you're getting a higher completion total, right, during this time. So you're saying the base set series 1 is filling up? People are starting to complete it?
Yeah, I'm saying across all sets of series 1.
Oh, really? All series 1 sets. Okay.
Common, rares, legendaries, they've all gone up 25% from where they were a year ago.
Nice. Right on. Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, that's interesting. That's good, right? I mean, at least there's some people that are hardcore on the platform, right? Sticking around. Great. Well, I mean, Smurf, last question for you. For Thursday nights, all day, all night, with you, Stone Cold, Mr. X, and his 90s fan going to make a return yet
big
again.
Return last week.
90s big return. He's back, baby. We're back. Let's do
right
it.
On,
Phil
man.
D,
all right. Well,
Phil D called us up from the dead.
Oh yeah,
I appreciate it.
Smurf, good to see you, man. And I'll post the link to All Day All Night in the podcast description if you guys want to follow it on Twitter or anything else. But appreciate the chat and a little bit of alpha.
Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, Smurf. Take care, man.
Later.
I'm always afraid when a guest leaves that they won't leave when we say goodbye, that they won't they won't know how to quit, and they'll just sit there, and I'll have to it'll take an extra 10 seconds for me to go and go remove guest, which is such like a slap in the face where you just get removed from a stream. But so it's good. Man. He was on it. He was really good at kind of leaving.
Wow.
Well, Phil, there you go. A new surprise guest every week. Someone, and I don't even tell you.
That was amazing.
That there's anything's going to happen.
I really wanted to ask him, but I actually slipped my mind at the end. I wanted to ask him, as a big sports fan, if he on the weekend was able to witness one of the greatest sports moments in Canadian history, which I assume that most of our listeners and most people who follow sports, even if you don't like golf that much, were able to witness. Because not only was it one of the greatest moments in Canadian sports, it's what happened right after that made it 10 times better. And the fallout from that is still going on today. And just to give a bit of context here, for those who don't know, the Canadian Open, which is the most irrelevant PGA stop on the actual tour every year, because it's wedged in there between the Memorial in Ohio and which is Jack Nicklaus's famous course. And I've been to that course many times. It's wedged in there between that and the US Open. Okay. So a lot of top golfers don't play. A lot do come to Canada because they feel it's a good warm-up. Like the Rory McIlroys and all that. But for the first time ever, this golf course, it's not ever, but in recent memory, I always look up where the Canadian Open is. It's never at the same golf course. It's usually in one of the posh communities of Ontario, like Oakville, Ontario, Burlington. Parts of Burlington have really nice golf courses. It's always somewhere like that. So when I saw North York, Ontario, I was like, hold on a second. Where the hell is this course? North York, for people who don't know, is part of the greater Toronto area. It's part of Toronto. It's like you can't say a neighborhood because it's so big, but anyway.
It's like the northern end of what is considered the downtown of Toronto, which like 100 years ago, that was like the northern outskirts. But now Phil and I grew up in North York. It's like when you tell people you grew up there, they're like, oh, you grew up downtown. So that's kind of like, because now Toronto's a big sprawl now, right? So it's kind of, you were kind of urban growing up there.
Yeah. So I looked it up. I said, wow, North York. Okay. So we don't have to like trek across town and go watch this event. We can go local, right? So I look it up on the map, and sure enough, for the first time ever, and I've lived in this city my entire life, found out that there is a PGA caliber golf course within only kilometers of one of the worst parts of town. Like we're talking, and for those who are from the greater Toronto area, or maybe even people from the outside, that the Jane and Finch area,
is that where it is?
It's literally a block or two north of Jane and Finch. And I don't understand still how there's a PGA golf course nestled into that. I don't want to diss anybody, but it's a ghetto at the end of the day. The Jane and Finch.
It was like when we were teenagers, like that's where like every weekend there was a shooting, and
but still happens.
Don't go there. And it's still there. Yeah, but it's like that was like don't go. And it was specifically like that's the intersection. It's like maybe not as dangerous for like a regular person walking by, but that's like a concentration of gang activity. Let's put it that way.
And it still is huge in the Toronto rap world. It's all different groups from that area, and they're constantly into some crazy stuff. Did you know that mom and dad used to take us to a mini golf in that area? Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember it, but
it was like, I think it was like, it mimicked like a train station. And it was right in the Jane and Finch area. And I know we're going to get a text saying it's not Jane and Finch. It's like the street north of Finch or south of Finch, something like that. But there was an actual mini golf course that we used to go to all the time. We were really young. So you're probably way younger, obviously. But we used to go there all the time.
What are they called? Fun Station?
Fun Station. Holy shit. That's exactly what it was called. But again, I am shocked. I'm like, hold on a second. They're actually bringing PGA pros to this area. And then when you watch it on TV, it's like all these nice pine trees and all that. But you see between the pine trees.
Don't even say anything else. No, hold on. We can't move away from Fun Station, which I don't remember at all without watching the ad for Fun Station. Okay.
Oh, I remember it really well.
This is with sound.
Station.
Hold on, wait. Let me restart it.
Fun Station. Family fun, fun station, fun with mini golf.
What in the world?
Oh
my God.
Patio restaurant.
People got destroyed on
Look
the
at this.
cars.
Fun
Come
station
on.
crew are ready with
Kimmy
summer
Gibbler?
fun for you. Also, ask about special group and birthday party packages and get on the right track to.
Okay, just so people know what we're laughing
Oh.
at, it's like batting cages and bumper cars, and in every single clip, the people are getting destroyed. Like the first clip of the bumper cars is someone just getting absolutely
And the batting
slammed.
cage, a girl.
And the
ball
batting
hits her.
cage is like the girl is like a woman batting, and she misses, and then another ball hits her.
Fun station, fun park.
Oh
The
yeah,
good
that's their
times
birthday
start
parties.
here. Jane above Finch.
Oh,
yeah,
my
Jane
God! They
above
actually
Finch.
say Jane and Finch.
Yeah, above Finch. Yeah,
They
above Finch.
actually say Jane and Finch. I cannot get
Hold
over.
on,
it.
I gotta watch this this person getting destroyed on the bumper car again. Hold on, let's see.
Fun
Look at that
station,
mini golf.
Fun park
Mini golf.
with mini golf.
Here comes
Bumper
first
car.
clip. Boom.
Of all clips,
I'm
and then someone who
gonna
can't
put the
control
link.
it.
I'm gonna put the link in the podcast description, and the bumper car is at 6 seconds in. Let's watch it one more time.
Bumper car.
Boom! Concussion.
Yeah, take your kids here so they can get absolutely mangled.
That
but-
place can't exist anymore. That can't
Okay,
be,
no, it
like-
doesn't. It's long gone.
Okay, it's gone.
I've driven by and I
Okay.
look, but I still can't get over that. Mom and Dad used to take us to the Jane and Finch area, literally nestled right in there, and we used to go play mini golf. I guess they considered it safe, but it actually is an area where, if you look at the news the last 5 years, there has been people hit by stray bullets all the time during the day.
It lasts like
stuff.
25
Seriously.
years, man. Like a lot.
No, seriously, it's a thing, right?
Yeah.
Like it's
Oh, yeah.
one of those things. If you're not from around there,
Mhm.
it's a problem. So I'm shocked that we used to go there. Maybe times were different way back then. I don't think so. But anyways, so bottom line is the PGA Tour, for whatever reason, picked a golf course. And if you watch, it looks great on TV. You see the pine trees. But the more shots you see, and I watched all day yesterday, you will see in the background some of those buildings. Like between the trees. I'm like, yo, seriously, what is this? And Toronto's traffic is top 5 worst in the world. And there were stories all week of golfers that were barely making their tee times. And there was one where his actual shuttle driver had to drive the wrong way on a major street for like a full 2 blocks to get to his tee time, or he'd be disqualified from the actual
Well, like,
tournament.
where were their hotels, right? Because their hotels wouldn't
I don't
be there.
know.
So their hotels would be like downtown.
At the airport, I would assume.
Or
I would
it
assume
still
the
take a
airport.
long time to get there, though. That'd
Oh,
still
dude,
take, like,
a
yeah,
10-minute
going anywhere in
drive
Toronto. Yeah.
on a Thursday or Friday at any point in the day would 100% be a 45-minute drive, right? So if they were mistiming all of that, the hole number 14 had something called the penalty box. Did you see that, LG?
No,
So
no.
there were
I was
boards.
sorry, I was at UFC all weekend. All right, I didn't catch any
That's
of
right.
this.
Oh, we got to hear about that. Okay.
Oh, we're gonna
So,
talk about it.
so there were hockey boards around the tee box, and every single official from the tournament was wearing a referee's outfit. Okay, it was called the penalty box.
Why?
And the golfers, some of them
Why?
had trouble teeing off because all the yahoos gathered there. If you ever watch the Waste Management Open in Phoenix, where all the yahoos gather on the 16th
What
hole,
the fuck is the waste management
Okay.
company sponsors?
yeah,
a
they
tournament?
sponsor it. And this
Oh my
tournament,
God.
you've never seen it. So people line up at like 4 in the morning. When the gates open, there's a drone to film them all running to the 16th hole. Okay, because there's a grandstand and everything. And every golfer in Phoenix that tees off on the 16th, if their shot is not close to the hole, they get the living crap booed out of them by the crowd.
Dude.
If they hit a good shot, the entire crowd throws their beers onto the course. Okay, everybody.
Why is it called that? Why
That's
is it
the sponsor.
called?
The sponsor is the
Well,
Waste
no, why is it
Management.
called the penalty box? Why is it called
Okay,
the penalty
so
box?
back to the
Is it
penalty
like a
box now.
Canadian gimmick of
Yeah,
like,
it's a
oh,
huge
hockey?
Canadian gimmick. Huge
Oh.
Canadian gimmick. And the fans were actually banging on the boards nonstop. Okay. Some of the golfers are trying to tee off and they were laughing so hard they had to step back and they couldn't stop because every single Canadian golfer, and there was like 20, they would sing the national anthem. It was getting really old. Every single time a Canadian golfer would come up, they would sing the national anthem. Matt, and tons of golfers, I'm telling you, if you watch the videos, they couldn't stop laughing. They're like, what is wrong with these people? Anyways, golf has kind of done this lately.
Welcome to
They've
Canada.
allowed some misbehavior on the course
Hold on,
at certain holes.
Yeah, I've got the video. Hold on, I've got some video.
Okay,
of that,
let's see.
of the
It was-
penalty
it was
box of
like who came up with
Nick. Yeah, here we go.
that? Look at that.
There, yeah, it's like a
Look at the
huge. It
hockey
just
guy.
looks like a hockey rink, and it has sponsors on it. And that sound is people hitting the boards. Oh, it's all yahoos, man.
All the yahoos rushed
It's all a
every
bunch
morning
of
to get there.
drunks.
Yeah.
Get in the hole.
And then they bang the boards again.
They bang the boards again.
Little Cuddy in there with 7.
There you go.
Nick Taylor.
So the other thing I noticed, look at that, a bunch of yahoos. And you know what? Kudos to golf for inviting that a little bit, because golf can be really, really serious and boring and stuff like that. But look at this guy, man. Like, seriously, what is this?
Dressed like a ref.
Didn't even look like a ref. Should have had like the full
you know
hockey
what, though?
pants on.
I mean, golf is going a lot younger and they see a lot of opportunity there. So I think
That's
good.
exactly it.
They know that like millennials, Gen Z, like they love like weird little gimmicks like that. And honestly, the whole point of doing it is so it ends up for people, like it ends up being on shows like this, or just, you know, kind of people that don't watch as much golf talking about it. So I think that works, right? Because golf is seen
it's got people talking about it. Yes.
Yeah.
So fast forward to the end of the tournament yesterday. A Canadian player has not won the event since 1954. Okay. And tons of Canadians get exemptions to play in this event. So there's always about 20 of them. And somehow none of them have ever won the event.
No.
Mike Weir, when he was winning tour events, the Masters, all that, he never won this tournament. Okay.
No.
So there was a Canadian in at the end who went to a playoff with Tommy Fleetwood.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first time we were going to have a chance to have a Canadian win it. It went to 3 playoff holes. Nothing was settled.
Right.
And then we got to the 4th playoff hole. And one of the most incredible shots you'll maybe ever see in golf was made, where the tournament was won on a 72-foot putt. That is not normal. Okay. That takes me back. And I was actually texting Dad about this earlier because he remembers. It takes me back to Tiger Woods, I believe in 2002, who hit a shot in the pitch black darkness over water to win the tournament when it was in Oakville or something like that. So Nick Taylor, big win. And it doesn't end there. Couple things. After he won, the crowd lost their shit. Absolutely lost their shit. It was starting to pour rain. I saw some Mounties in the background. I love the fact that because this is called the Canadian Open, they needed to have things like Mounties there. First of all, LG, how often do you see actual Mounties? I never see Mounties.
So hold on. There's something you should know about Mounties, because the traditional, so what you think of as a Mountie, which is the person in the red outfit, like South or whatever that show was, there's a lot of those, but they never wear that. You know what I mean? They don't wear, that's their traditional outfit that they wear, like when the Queen comes and shit like that. But otherwise they don't wear that. Like anybody, we have a large federal police in Canada. It's called the RCMP, and that's what Mounties are. So all of them are technically Mounties. Any small town, like we don't have a provincial police in BC. So even my town is like the RCMP is the police. Is the Mounties. Right? There's no municipal, there's no provincial, there's just the RCMP. And all of them are technically Mounties. They all have a Mountie outfit at home that they could wear with the hat. It's just something that they're only going to wear that when they get commended or some other shit, right? So I rarely have ever seen a Mountie in Mountie uniform, but we do have a lot of Mounties. They're just nobody. If you like, honestly, if you called a Mountie, he'd probably arrest you. Like he'd probably beat you up.
I just find it funny that that's what people associate Canadians with. It's the same as
they should have them. They should have them wear their outfits at this event. That's like if they have the penalty box, they might as well get these guys in their Mountie outfits and play. Like
no, they were wearing those.
Oh, they were. Okay.
That's what I mean. Is you never see that. I was like, okay, that's of course the Canadian tournament tour. They were going to throw a bunch of Mounties in there out of nowhere.
They should. They should. Americans love that.
So after Nick Taylor won, which just set off fireworks in all over the world.
That the clip that everybody's seen.
Something happened. Okay, a lot of the fellow Canadian golfers who had played earlier in the day, some didn't even make the cut. They were all there in attendance to witness this. And some of them had champagne bottles ready to celebrate. And when Nick Taylor hit that putt, Adam Hadwin, who had played around earlier in the day and was now changed into different clothes, grabbed a champagne bottle and rushed on to the green to celebrate with Nick Taylor. And then all hell broke loose. Roll the tape.
Well, here we go. Yeah. People could be listening to it, but basically this is right when the incident happened, but everybody's probably seen this by now, but he ran right at them and started spraying champagne. And a police officer who's running security noticed it and took him to the ground.
It was a security guard and a police officer. And we're talking, that's a big tackle. Like that is.
And here comes the caddy. The caddy comes over. He's like, no, that's Adam Hadwood, man. Like leave him alone.
God, dude. Oh my God.
And then I like, one of the funny things is the cop, like one cop tackles him, the security tackles him, and then the RCMP officer comes over and he's on him. He starts grabbing his hand. And then when he realizes, they get him up and see the police officer starts laughing. He's like,
he's all sheepish. He's all sheepish.
Yeah, he's like, that was funny. Wasn't it, buddy? Yeah. Oh, sorry there, friend. hey, bud, sorry. It's like, no, you're going to get a freaking lawsuit, man. Like, there's something
know
bad's
what,
going to
though?
happen. You're trying to do anything.
In true Canadian fashion, Adam Hadwin actually joked about it after and said he's all good, no injuries, so he can't play. He can't play that card anymore. And
I would have done the same, bud. If I was a police officer, if I was a cop, I'd do the same,
But what's crazy is that Adam Hadwin is a golfer. Imagine he has to miss like some upcoming events because he got absolutely mangled.
Yeah, because he broke his wrist or something like that.
Who has
missed the entire season.
I don't think it was necessary to tackle. Like, it's not, he wasn't holding a machete or like a machine gun or anything like that. He literally had a bottle of champagne. I mean, what's the worst you could do? Like, these security guards at sporting events, I think it comes from all these videos we've seen of like failed security attempts at catching those guys who run onto the field. I think some of them take it really seriously. And the minute they can put their hands on someone, they take them out hard.
I don't necessarily disagree that they don't have time to think. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I think that split second can be the difference between like life or death if somebody has like a knife, right? And there's that incident, was it like an NCAA game 2 years ago where those two girls were going to run on the court and protest like the meat industry, and you know what I'm talking about? The security guard's watching them, and then as soon as they go, he hops over the front row and tackles the girl because he knew they were going to do it. But then, listen, man, like 20, 30 years ago, the big stories in sports, like in the 90s, is like athletes were getting stabbed. Like
Monica Seles, that's a
Monica Seles, a good example. There's a couple baseball ones too. So I think now, also to discourage like streaking and all that kind of stuff, because I think the story they say to the public is like, well, it could be dangerous, so we take like excessive force. But I think in general, to discourage it, they're like, anybody who runs on that shouldn't be there, take him out. Like hurt the person so that other people don't try and do the same. Maybe Adam Hadwin should have had credentials or something. I think it's a kind of
he's not. I mean, he's not a household name or face. So
no, it's not like it's Tiger Woods.
It's not a Tiger Woods where you'd be like, okay, I know who he is. I'm not going to tackle him. Nobody knows who the hell Adam Hadwin is. Trust me.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So, let alone a security guard who's not part of the. He's probably not even into golf.
Not like 4 years ago, Phil, when Masai Ujiri from the Raptors tried to celebrate his team winning the championship.
Okay, so the Toronto media is trying to spin it in that exact same direction, calling both incidents identical and saying that people need to be reprimanded for when these things happen, the way it did with Masai Ujiri. I think the Ujiri thing was 10 times worse. Okay, he wasn't rushing the court. He didn't have no credentials on him. Masai Ujiri was actually, making his way over in a really calm way after a championship with his full credentials, and the cop decided to just be a dick and rough him up.
Well, and he said, I'm the general manager of this team.
Right.
Like,
he
it's
said
not
who he
like,
is. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think that's
the cop didn't even look into
thing.
Right.
They should be a little bit like the stadium security should maybe be a little bit more aware of like who the players and the
But you're not supposed to rush the green after, like,
No, it looked quite
families
aggressive.
don't even do that, man.
Yeah, it looked a little bit aggressive for sure.
It was such a big moment that these Canadian golfers who were actually very close, and we didn't know that until recently. I think it was the emotion poured out, and these guys were so happy they just didn't think about it. But I want to finish on this, LG, when it comes to golf and security.
Please, yeah.
The only reason that security guard acted that way is because, and I'm going to rewind it back to this Waste Management Open this year, the streaker at the Waste Management Open who ran across 3 entire holes with security chasing him, and they could not get him. Okay. This guy was fully too new, running. Everyone was cheering and throwing beer everywhere, and they couldn't get him. And when he got to the water, he did the biggest spread eagle jump into the water with the cops in pursuit. And the place erupted like someone had won the Masters. It is one of the greatest videos ever. It goes on and on because this guy escapes. They couldn't catch him. He was just too quick. And some of these security guards and some of these police officers are not the greatest of shape. And they were tumbling into like sand traps. Like, they're falling everywhere. And this guy is just running. And at the end, he does the greatest swan dive right into that pond you will ever see in your life. And then he starts surfing on the sign of the tournament in the middle of the water, and they still can't get him.
I do love, as much as it's, it can be dangerous at times, I do love when streakers and other field intruders are able to completely evade the security. I do enjoy that. I think that's pretty funny. It's kind of pitiful where it's like, listen, man, like if I was, I've never been a security guard or a cop, but I feel like if I was a cop, Like you have a gym at work and they want you to be big and strong. Like I would definitely make sure that I'm pretty fast. Right? And I know they're wearing a lot of gear, but some of
not
guys,
just for streakers, for anything.
Yeah. That's what I mean, man. If you're gonna have to fight some crackhead, like I don't want to lose crackhead. You know what I mean? Like I'd make sure I can overpower people like that, and also outrun them a little bit, right? So, but you know,
good times.
Hard to judge from this distance, right?
That's
what I have to do. Or I've
big moment in Canadian sports history and golf history. That was huge, man.
Is that the biggest Canadian golf moment since Mike Weir winning the Masters?
It has to be 100%. Not even close. There hasn't been any other moments.
Yeah. There's literally been nothing to talk about since.
No, there's nothing to talk about.
What is that? 21 years ago or something like that? 2001? Because Tiger gave it to him, right?
That's right.
So, yeah, this is like a super long time ago. And Mike Weir has catapulted that into like being, you know, a giant brand in Canada. He's got his winery. He has all this. Everyone's like, yeah, even in those clips, he's there. Mike Weir, you know, like he's our guy.
Still the only Canadian golfer people can name. Like seriously, it's not even
absolutely.
A joke, right?
I just found out who these guys were through the last 24 hours. I didn't know those guys were at all. There's no way. Which is pitiful. It's too bad because I feel like in a lot of other, you know, American and international sports, we've been able to have a few Canadian athletes kind of transcend and be bigger names, right? And you know, you would have thought that maybe Mike Weir would have inspired a younger generation in Canada to take up golf, maybe in the same way that like a Vince Carter did for basketball, but clearly not the same effect. Mike Weir definitely not the same. Didn't carry the same swagger, let's say, as a Vince Carter.
No, but we could be seeing it now. Like this could be.
I think guys. From that,
these could be the guys that were growing up watching Mike Weir. Now you know maybe it took time because and he's not young. Nick Taylor's not 21, but there's rarely any golfers, with the exception of the superstar golfers, that win tournaments at 19, 20, 21, right? A lot of golfers don't win their first event,
I'm saying
or even win events, but
I think something like tennis, it's like, well, we still have a couple notable tennis players here and there, right? Like they're not Grand Slam champions yet, but they're not nobodies at this point, right? Like
Raonic back on the tour. The same thing.
I think Milos Raonic had his first match in like 2 years today or yesterday or something like that.
Do you know if he won?
He did. He won. Yeah, he won.
I didn't know
so he's back. Papa Sil. We've got a few. Felix. What's his name?
Auger-Aliassime.
That's it. Yeah. So we've got a few. You know, there's a decent generation, and that comes from like there wasn't like a big, you know, Canadian tennis player 20 years ago, right? They've kind of come out of the ether a little bit, except for that doubles guy. That doubles guy who always did.
What was his name, man? Oh my God.
Exactly.
Nestor.
Exactly.
Daniel
what was
Nestor.
his name?
Daniel Nestor, man. It's Daniel Nestor.
Hey, just before we move on from golf, did you have any thoughts on the Live Golf PGA merger, which is like a million years ago now, but a lot of golf news this week. You're
actually the one who told me about it. Like when you messaged me, I thought you were full of shit. I'm like, what are you talking about?
It's pretty nuts, right? Honestly. Like, and for people that don't follow golf, and I don't blame you if you don't follow golf, that's totally fine. Live Golf is is this competitive league that emerged a couple years ago. They are backed by the Saudis, who are making a huge push into golf or into all sports, which we've covered on the podcast. And they last year offered these massive bounties to a lot of PGA players to pretty much have them cross the floor, be like, hey, we're a competitive league. Come on over here. We'll pay you like $200 million. Some of them took it, caused a lot of, division in golf. But regardless of that, the ratings for Live Golf were still total trash. Like they were garbage. Like nobody was watching it. Didn't matter. What a waste of money. But then randomly last week, the PGA announced that they were merging with Live Golf, which really, I find that really confusing, Phil. I feel like there's got to be more at play there than we know, because I really don't think Live was like competitive enough yet to warrant that, or for the PGA to worry about them as a threat. But clearly there's something else there.
I think Live was more on the side of, all right, we know we need the PGA brand. So if things are not going well early, and it's hard. Nobody knew where to watch the Live events. You knew the golfers. All these golfers are now looked at as like big scumbags because of the money they took.
So yeah, of course, yeah. How dare you?
Now,
yeah.
Think of the regret from the guys who were offered. I mean, Tiger was offered. Tiger doesn't need the money, but Tiger was offered like, dude. Yeah,
it's like $700 or $800 million to go play for Live, right?
And he stayed loyal. Yeah. He didn't go, and neither did Rory or those guys like that. And but now there's talk that because of the partnership, the guys who left won't reap the same benefits, because now that the PGA is back in charge, the PGA actually makes a decision on if those guys are allowed back in and under what conditions. But those guys don't give a shit because they've already got their massive money. And for most of them, for those who don't understand why $200 million would be a lot to a golfer, some of these guys, their career earnings were like 30, 40 million. And they had been playing for 10 to 15 years. And now they quadruple that, even more in one shot. They got the money. And the deal with the Saudi money, for those, again, who don't understand it, because Cristiano Ronaldo took money, Leo Messi was offered money, didn't take it. It is tax-free money, right? So you're getting a huge chunk. But yeah, I was shocked, man. I'm shocked that not even a year later, actually, this is the second time the Canadian Open is stuck in the middle of this crazy news. It happened last year.
It was,
and it happened again this year, where no one's talking about this Canadian Open because of the Live Golf Tour news. And now money talks, LG. End of story. Money talks in everything in life, and
absolutely.
No matter what,
absolutely.
The money
and
was offered to that commissioner there, or that whatever the hell he is, and he's like, "Oh yeah,
yeah." And also, you're seeing mergers kind of across the board, right? Like the WWE and UFC merged recently, and they're announcing a new company, right? Like it's not uncommon for consolidation to happen sometimes. But would love to learn a little bit more. Phil, we got to move on to talk about other topics, but first, let's hear one of an ad on the show. We haven't had an ad on the show in months, but we have one today, courtesy of Pooky.gg, POOKY.gg. So here's
what is this, man?
Here's a message from our sponsor. With the MLS heating up this summer, there is no better time to step into a world of fantasy soccer and add a little hint of Web3. Pooky is a blockchain soccer prediction game that is free and easy to play. All you have to do is show up, grab your Pooky ball, and pick the scores of each match for the chance to win some Matic and other prizes. There are multiple tiers of balls and competitions, and many leagues reward up to 660 Matic each week. It's based on Polygon, so the gas fees are insanely low, like 2 cents. So sign up at the link below in our podcast description and start predicting today on Pooky. Wow. Man,
I thought you were joking. I didn't know we had.
No, I'm dead serious. No, we actually have a sponsor.
Oh, cool.
So this is actually I will talk about it because I don't take on sponsors where I think the product's crap. Like I try and take on stuff that I think is actually interesting and actually kind of cool. So let's just do a quick walkthrough. I did not agree to a walkthrough, so this is free for them. But I want people who listen to the show, watch the show, to kind of understand how it works. So you can go to the site Pooky, Pooky. And it's basically like a soccer prediction game. I don't think they have the rights to the team names. So basically it's like the different cities. But what you do is you sign in, you get a free ball. And with that ball, you get like 100 of these like lightning kind of points, energy points. And with those points, you can make different bets. So you go into this. This is Banfield versus River Plate. And you can kind of predict like what the score is going to be. And then kind of, make your prediction on that. So it's basically, it's a little bit of kind of like what do you call it? We're just calling the predictions for the games, the outcomes of the games.
Yeah, it's like a prediction challenge, man. That's
prediction challenge, right? Like, I don't know if there's a real name for that, but here you go.
That's what it's called on other sites. Yeah. Like ESPN.
Okay, so prediction game,
prediction challenges all the time.
Yeah, you go, you set prediction, and that's it. And then you get points, you climb the leaderboard. There's paid competitions, which you need to enter by buying Pooky balls, like rare Pooky balls. So when you join, you get the base one. But then you can buy other like common, rare, epic, legend, kind of like So Rare, where it like lets you into the different competition tiers. And then you go and you play. The part that I actually like is these Pooky balls, they're called. Each one has different traits. So you can get one that's like, hey, this Pooky ball gives you like +5 points for home teams, right? So if you predict the home team's going to win, you get an extra 5 points. So it's kind of like, it's bonuses. So if you feel like you're always going to bet on like away teams, go look for a Pooky ball that has a huge bonus for away teams and use that one to bet. So there's kind of like an extra little layer there that I think is cool. And then you can buy and sell and trade those Pooky balls. So I like that. They're using kind of crypto to do it. Their drops sell out like freaking instantly. There was one last week. We weren't able to get a promo up for it in time, but it sold out in like a couple hours. They have another one, I think, looks like in a day and 15 hours. Their times are kind of European, so it's going to drop very early morning for all of us. But yeah, I think it's cool. I'm going to try and get probably one of the commons or the rares in the next drop and just kind of play around. And they have MLS. So that I think is where there's a bit more interest here. You need, I think, a common ball. So you have to buy one to play in MLS, but you can basically bet MLS. Maybe that's, interest to a lot of our people kind of watching. Especially MLS being mid-season. So that's the pitch for Pooky. Go check it out. I'll put the link in the bio for the podcast. It's free to play, so go check it out always love to see some innovation in the blockchain kind of betting space. So that's it. That's the plug for Pookie, Phil.
Wow.
Pookie.
All right. Gotta check it out.
Boom. Go check it out. Yeah, Phil, you like this kind of stuff, right? I feel like
I do.
into it.
Yeah, we'll check it out.
Yeah, there you go. So Phil, I went to UFC.
Nice.
I went to UFC 289. It was a hell of an experience, honestly. I've never been, Phil, I was thinking about this. I posted on Twitter that I have never been to a live fighting event, which I realize is untrue. You and I went to a WWE wrestling event in like 1996 or something like that.
Did?
Like, I remember Ken Blackman was fighting. Remember he was like the Taekwondo guy with the black pants. I only remember Ken Blackman. Or no,
Ken Shamrock.
Not no. His last name was Blackman. Shane Blackman. Anyways, you and I went to something at the Sky Dome way back, and that's Steve Blackman. You know what I'm talking about? You know,
at the Sky Dome would have been WrestleMania, no?
No, but we weren't fancy. We didn't go to that. It was like a Monday Night Raw.
I did go to that though.
Remember this guy, Steve Blackman? Remember this guy, Steve Blackman?
I do remember him. Wow.
Vaguely.
Okay. Yes. No, I do. I do.
Anyways, totally unrelated. So I went to UFC and made kind of a weekend of it, which was awesome. I went down. When did I go? I went down on Friday because we went to the Q&A and ceremonial weigh-in. So basically how like UFC weekends work is like on Thursday, there's like press conference. And then on Friday, there's ceremonial weigh-in, which is free for fans. I don't know if it's like that in other towns, but it's free for fans. So I went with my buddy Steve, who's a loyal listener of the podcast and also formerly an MMA fighter, which I'll explain in just a second. But which there's a relation to UFC here. And what we did is I also caught wind that UFC Strike was organizing like a little get together there. Rob, who's the new GM, was actually in town for it. So what we did is we're able to meet up with Rob and a bunch of other collectors, go to the ceremonial weigh-in, which was free, but he was able to get us sponsorship seats, which were like pretty much like near the front, which is awesome. So we got to like get in kind of first, sit right near the front. The Q&A they had was what's her name? Shevchenko, right? In the women's bouts.
Yep.
And Juliana Pena was there. And then two Canadian fighters that nobody's ever heard of, but they, put them on a stage to kind of make them be part of it. But it was good. The Q&A was hilarious. It was funny to see like random fans kind of ask questions. And then obviously they wanted to kind of ask Pena about Nunes potentially retiring and if she'd want to fight her again. And then Pena took that opportunity to just talk shit the whole time. People asked Shevchenko and Pena if they would fight each other again. And,
oh God,
she wouldn't want to lose weight to kind of go down one weight class to go to that. Anyways, so we had a hell of a time, super fun. And then on the Saturday, we went down for the main event, got there early because it's like doors are at 3, prelims start at 4. And we had floor seats, which is kind of fancy. And what we were able to do, since we were there early and nobody else was there yet, we were actually able to go to the first row of the floor seats for the first couple prelim bouts, which was freaking awesome, man. So we were like right near here. I'll show you a couple photos. Like we're right near Daniel Cormier and
DC
and John Anik. You have no idea how obsessed people are with DC. Like anytime he was walking to and from the ring, people were like, DC! Like that's
a legend, man.
Obsessed. I'd say the two people that like the crowd is most obsessed with were Dana White and DC, more so than any of the fighters. Like people went absolutely anytime Dana White walked by, the whole crowd would get up and take like 1 billion photos of him.
Really? Thank God Hasbulla was in there.
Oh, that's another thing too. You go to these events, they're selling all this UFC merch, right? You can buy like UFC Canada, you can buy, McGregor, whatever. You can buy all this stuff. You can buy Hasbulla shirts. You could actually buy UFC Prism packs there, which was pretty cool.
They sell Hasbulla shirts?
Yes. And I have never seen, and these weren't even the shirts sold at this event. I have like of everything. Like if you go to a UFC event, Phil, and you're going to see t-shirts, like, if you go to NBA Summer League, what kind of gear are you going to see the most of? Like Lakers, Celtics, right? Like that kind of stuff.
Traditional.
So you go to UFC, you're like, who am I going to see the most paraphernalia of? Like Conor McGregor, maybe Ronda Rousey, like
I know where you're going with this.
Maybe Nunes, or like some of the people fighting, like Oliveira. No, Hasbulla. Like people, they're like, I'm not even kidding. Every 5th person had a Hasbulla shirt. Different Hasbulla shirts, like not the ones that are selling at the event, various Hasbulla shirts. Which it was stunning, honestly. Like I was like, that is easily the best signing I think the UFC has made in a long time.
They're smart, man. They're smart. They know what they're doing.
Absolutely.
Whether he ever fights or not, or whatever the hell it is he does,
it doesn't matter.
He slaps people in the face and stupid things like that. But But you're right. I mean, remember that time they said he's canceled because he was like abusing cats? That lasted like
Oh yeah,
3 hours, and then people were like,
yeah,
"Yeah, no,
yeah.
we love this little kid."
So here, let me show you. Here we go. So this is pretty much from the front seats, like how
damn.
closely you can see, Cormier and Anik and who's the other guy? Who's the other guy who replaced Rogan? I almost forget his name. Rogan didn't make the trip because Rogan has naughty words about Canada. Yeah, he wasn't there.
Oh, is that what it is? So
well, that's the rumor is that Rogan didn't come because he
was it a former fighter?
Yeah. I think his name is
the redhead guy. The redhead beard.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah. Anyways, so pretty good. So we sat in the front row for a little bit there. Here's another nice photo.
Can you show us John Anik's evil twin Manny?
Yes, I'm going to get to that in just a second. Okay. Yeah. Okay, here we go. So here's pretty much what it looks like from the front row. I took this before the event started.
That's close, man. Holy shit.
Yeah, it was close. And we were able to sit there for the first couple fights, which was awesome. And then the third fight, and they loaded the cards with Canadian fighters, of course, right? As you can
imagine. Yeah, as they should. It's a good opportunity.
Yeah, being the Canadian card, they absolutely should do that. And the guy who is on the third fight is Kyle Nelson, who's a Canadian fighter that my buddy Steve, who's a listener of the podcast, and be happy we're talking about this, fought Kyle Nelson 10 years ago in an MMA bout in Ottawa, or kickboxing bout in Ottawa, Canada. Wow. And that was actually Steve, my friends. It was his last MMA fight. And he lost to Kyle Nelson, but he claims that during the fight, Kyle Nelson was knocked out leaning against the ropes and the ref didn't see. So naturally, we're watching Kyle Nelson fight. I told Steve, I was like, listen, if Kyle Nelson loses, that tells all of us that you suck, that you are a terrible fighter. But if Kyle Nelson wins, you know what I mean? It's like if Kyle Nelson wins, then we believe you. That it means that you were a good fighter. And Kyle Nelson destroyed his opponent, even though he's the underdog. So yeah, it was good. All the Canadian fighters, I think went 0 for 6 or 0 for 7 on the card, which was fantastic. So we had a great time. Meeting the strike crew was good. Probably your favorite part, Phil, from following on social media was the
100%
collapse.
100%. Roll that tape immediately.
I think one person was sent to hospital.
No, not even. No. They said on the broadcast everyone's okay, like minor scrapes and scratches. But LG, please roll that tape. It is one of the. I watched it maybe 1,000 times, and the way there's this one person from the highest point that goes down. I don't think anyone sees it. I don't even know where that person ends up because you don't see them part of the group getting up. And then there were actually security guards that got buried under that pile. That's what people don't understand.
Oh, it made no sense, honestly.
But best part is that the Canadian fighter who was coming out almost got absolutely destroyed by that railing. And he kind of emerges out of the rubble as if nothing
happened. Here, let's watch it. So basically, Mike Malott, this is the third last fight of the night. So this is the fight right before the Oliveira fight and the Nunez fight where she retired. And we were on the other side of this stadium here. Like we're on the other side of the floor. So we didn't see this at all. Maybe we
did you guys hear the commotion at least? Like did you
No.
Oh,
honestly, the crowd was nuts. Like the crowd was. What's cool about going to a UFC event is that it's kind of like going to a concert or like a music festival where it's like if you're there early, there's a few people and they cheer, but it's very small, and then it builds and builds and builds. And by the time
it gets crazier.
It is, and people are freaking tanked by that point, right? Like people have been in there for freaking 6 hours, so they're absolutely blasted. So by the point you're getting to like Mike Malott, like the third last fight, people know Oliveira's next. People are stoked as another Canadian. Like it's pretty rowdy. You don't really notice this kind of stuff. But let's take a look at the railing collapse.
Whoa! But LG, you have to show the other angle. The other angle is better. The one that was shown on TV. The angle from TV is the best angle.
That's dangerous, man. That's
very dangerous. If I'm not gonna lie, if I was one of those people, they all got up and helped each other up and went back to their seats. If I'm one of those people, LG, knowing what event I'm at, I am absolutely playing dead on the ground. Like I'm dying on the spot and then suing the hell out of the UFC and everybody else.
Oh, absolutely. Here there's actually a guy who posted it.
There's
a guy in UFC Strike who was sitting like right there. And actually here, let me just download this video.
But the actual TV angle is the best one. The TV angle is because you see Mike Malott emerge from the pile. And it's just like, the TV angle is fantastic. It really is.
Hold on. No, wait, hold on. The wrong one. Here, let's take a look at this one. I'm going to try and post as many of these.
There was a lot going on in Canada this weekend, man.
Here we go. Oh, no, wait, that's Oliveira. Hold on. Wrong clip. Oh, I will say, while I look for the other clip, Oliveira was awesome. That was really, really awesome to see him.
He's awesome when he's like not champion, you know, like
Yeah.
I always feel
Yeah.
that way about him. Like that was like, you know, like I feel like he's at his best when he's hungry for something, right? And something people don't know, because LG was texting me nonstop during the event. During the main event, the one where Amanda Nunes ended up retiring after winning her belt, it was kind of lame at first. So I messaged LG. I was sitting with my son, LG's nephew. We were watching the fight. And I said, all right, the crowd is really like quiet and they're bored, it seems.
Yeah.
And we can hear like these people in the crowd, like letting go of these blood curling. You know, at every sporting event, when it's kind of quiet, there's always that one or two people that just let go of some crazy.
Oh yeah,
scream.
and in a 5-round fight where you know Nunes is clearly going to destroy her opponent, she's taking her time. She knows their last fight, so she's probably savoring the moment a little bit. Like, and they're 5 different 5-minute rounds. It's pretty slow. Like, you know, they start the round starts to trade a couple jabs, but that fight was pretty slow for the first couple.
There was
rounds.
nothing going on in
circling each other, so it was boring. Yeah.
So I messaged LG. I sent him a text message. Listen, we can hear everything from the crowd. You need at some point in this round to scream as loud as you can, and we want to hear you. So LG said, so I was watching a delayed feed, obviously. Very legal one at that, for sure. But anyways, I was watching on a delayed feed, and LG said, all right, at the 249 mark, you need to listen, because apparently he screamed at the 249 mark. So I've got about 30 seconds to go. I'm like, oh, hell yeah, this is going to be amazing. We are definitely going to hear this. So I'm sitting there, and like at the 229 mark, whatever it was, we both like sit there, we pucker up our ears, and we hear absolutely nothing. So now I'm wondering, did LG actually scream, or did he just tell me that? And if he did scream, because LG is notorious, for those who don't know, when you go to a sporting event with LG, and our dad hates this. Our dad hates this, but won't say it.
He hates this. Yeah, he doesn't like this.
During the national anthem.
Yeah, the Canadian. Yeah.
The Canadian one. There's these 2 pauses in the anthem where the yahoos in the crowd just like let it rip. LG is one of those yahoos every time. And every time we've been to a sporting event with our dad, LG, we know it's coming. And our dad tries to look away and he shakes his head. LG lets a crazy scream rip during that. This is where this came from. I expected you to just let her rip, but we didn't do anything. We didn't.
I did. I yelled as loud as I could, man. You can ask Steve.
Crazy.
Steve can confirm this. Steve, if you're able to comment anywhere, please know.
We need a video of how loud you scream. I do not believe you.
No, there's no video. Listen, I think we're pretty done by that point, honestly, because I think it went from like a high of Oliveira winning, because Oliveira won like 3 minutes in his fight, freaking destroyed Dark.
That should have been the main event.
And that was such a high, and then Nunes came out, and we're all like, all right, Nunes is just gonna crush her in the first round. Go out and the night's gonna end. It's gonna be so awesome. But then it was like the 3rd round, and everybody's like falling asleep, right? Because it's so obvious that Nunes is gonna win because she's killing her anyways. But it just got very not exciting. So I yelled as loud as I could, but maybe not as loud as I can, or I could if I wasn't tired. Just for people who wonder about my disruption during sports games, there's a very particular moment when I would yell during the anthem, and this is way back when I used to go to Blue Jays games back in like 2007 with buddies after work, kind of thing. We're a bunch of young yahoos. National anthem, okay, especially when you're in Canada, typically it's a Blue Jays game, you're typically listening to 2 national anthems, right? The American national anthem and then the Canadian national anthem. So you're sitting through like 7 minutes of anthems, freaking boring as hell. So at the very end of the Canadian national anthem, the final sentence is, you know, "Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee." There's a pause between, and it's the same sentence before. So they say that, and there's a pause. There's like a 2-second pause, and then they sing the last line. That is when I would belt out the loudest scream possible from way up in the 500 level, like way up in the bleachers of the Sky Dome, would just unleash this scream every single time. It was the perfect time to scream. And it, you know what it would do, Phil D? It would start the cheer, because at the end of the anthem, everybody's like, woo, you know, so that scream would get people go. It'd scare the shit out of most people around me, but it mainly got people going. Okay. So
this is what I was looking for, though, because I know your history with screams that make it on the TV. So I was looking for
I don't think it ever made it onto TV.
But now let's get to the real story here, LG. And we need to know about this. So when Amanda Nunes announced her retirement, she is the greatest fighter of all time in the UFC in terms of accolades.
And the rumor was that she was going to retire. We kind of knew she was going to retire.
So then when she jumped over and whispered to Dana, we were like, okay, we know what she just whispered, because Dana got on the phone right away, like furiously calling the truck, like telling them, hey, oh my God, get those videos ready, get everything ready. Anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to LG. Wow. If anything,
You texted me.
I texted LG. I said, if anything, wow, you got to see Amanda Nunes retire from the UFC.
Yeah.
And about 10 minutes later, I figured LG's like, freaking drunk and he's like screaming stuff and he's at the front trying to get pictures. LG messages me back and says, well, not really. We left in the middle of the third.
Not we, me, just me.
I left in the middle of the third round. What was it? To catch the last ferry out of town or something like that? As if we're like in the home.
I live this was in downtown Vancouver, and I don't live anywhere near there. I have to get there. I either have to drive, which I wasn't going to drive on this night. I have to take a bus to get from downtown, from the arena back to my house. I have to take a bus for like an hour and a half to the ferry dock, get there early enough to get the ferry. Last ferry is at 11:30, 40-minute ferry, and then get home from there on the other side, like a 25-minute drive. So listen, it wasn't, there was no, like that's the last ferry. If I miss that, I'm totally screwed. Like I just sleep on the ground or on the park bench or something like that. So I wasn't missing that. And honestly, for a boring ass fight, I was like, listen, I can watch her retiring a different time. We got the high of Oliveira. The Canadians swept. I'm not worried.
The grandstand collapsing. You saw all
the
of
grandstand collapse. Actually, here, let's watch it. I've got the video from.
This is the best one. Watch the guy at the very
top. Yeah.
There's a guy at the very top that just flies right off.
Oh, what is this aftermath? I keep pulling up the wrong video. Anyways, forget it.
Okay. Anyways, for those who haven't seen it, want to see it, the broadcast one is the best one. You can find it anywhere on Twitter. And it shows the Canadian fighter getting like devoured by this falling grandstand. And then he just emerges out of nowhere as if nothing happened and continues his pregame talking to himself and like punching the air and all that.
Let's try one more time. Here it is. Here it is.
Oh,
Michael Lott giving the countdown to start walking out.
What a shot.
Here comes. Here we go. Yeah. Whoa!
I would have stayed down. I would have just played dead.
Is that right?
But there's security under these people. Like there's security stuck under the railing.
They're lucky it wasn't worse. They're lucky that wasn't worse, man. And we were joking,
God.
if there's a lawyer nearby, go over there.
The lawsuits are coming. They're still gonna.
Yeah, lawsuits are coming for sure.
Go back to work.
Disgrace Vancouver. Rogers Arena in Vancouver. What a disgrace.
That is pretty bad, man. That is pretty bad. But
and listen, and that's the site of other. It's funny too, Phil D. One last little thing on UFC. I was sitting at the very last row of like the east side of the floor, and I realized that I was sitting in a very special spot for Canadians everywhere. I was sitting in the exact spot where Sidney Crosby scored the golden goal at the 2010 Olympics to beat the Americans in overtime to set a record for Canadian gold medals, a record for Olympic winter gold medals. Probably one of the greatest moments in Canadian sports history, if not at least one of the greatest of our lifetime. Absolutely. And I was sitting literally where the net was. So that was pretty cool. And also, if you want other notable things that have happened in that stadium, probably the other big one is, you may recall in 2011, there were riots in Canada when the Vancouver Canucks lost the Stanley Cup final in Game 7 to the Boston Bruins. And when I say in Canada, I mean specifically in downtown Vancouver. Well, it was in that arena that they lost to the Bruins. So a lot of history. You're sitting there. A lot of the hockey, the Sidney Crosby one is nice. The rest is disgraceful. So the railing one is another one for the lore of Vancouver sports. Let's put it that way.
I saw one guy, just a final point on that. Some guy said, if you want to get to the bottom of how that railing collapsed, you freeze frame that thing and you find the heaviest person that was along, and it's them. No, he was explaining the physics. He's like a physics guy. He's like, it only happens because the heaviest person was leaning on it, and whoever that is, it's all their fault. So but man, the way they went down, like Jesus Christ, I'm really surprised.
It's scary. Yeah, it's a good thing. It's good everybody was okay, and I'm sure it's the heaviest person. The thing is that I don't think they've designed that railing for people to lean on it, because usually when that's the tunnel for people coming out, for like players coming out, they'll have like something kind of around it or something. I don't think they're used to it. And like people were blasted by that point. People were really excited. So
but for years, people have leaned over railings, LG, and they haven't collapsed. Like, you know what I mean? Right, everywhere they lean over over the railings. Like, think of all those NBA incidents recently where people are whipping popcorn and like trying to get over and all that stuff.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
So someone's still gonna get blamed for this. Like, this is shit is going down. That's for sure.
Phil D, NBA Finals tonight. Let's keep going around the ring for talking about sports. NBA Finals tonight. Is it over? By the time people are listening to this, is there a
Yeah.
new NBA champion in Denver Nuggets?
Yes.
Yes.
Time to move on. Absolutely.
Time
Yep.
to move on.
Denver lost one game at home in these playoffs,
Mhm.
and it was that
Mhm.
last game against Miami. It was kind of like a whoops. We didn't take these guys seriously, and now they're not losing 2 in a row at home. There's zero chance of that happening. Nobody wants to go back to Miami. That would be the biggest waste of time to go back to Miami. You don't even want to go back to Miami to win it. Like, that's not enticing for anybody. So, too good at home. Denver, too good at home. Played way too well the last game. They seem to have figured out kind of the formula to beat Miami now. And Miami, the Cinderella story is kind of over now. I think it's done. I think it ends tonight. I think we see a champion tonight, and we get to see the
Tyler
Jokic
Hero's
brothers.
back. Does that matter?
No.
It's no be the Jamal Murray to Butler's Nikola Jokic.
No. Can we get ballers on like Duncan Robinson's shoes or something? I think we deserve that. Is Michael Carter Williams still playing in this league? Does that guy still exist?
No, I don't think he's played a game since that happened.
Man, the amount of people who wasted like giveaways on that shit, I still can't get over it. Anyways,
it was a mess.
Yeah, I think it's over. It's over.
You think it's over? Okay.
Yep, it's done. Denver's too strong, too deep. Miami just can't match them whatsoever. So.
Is it that, I was thinking about this earlier. Denver obviously looking strong, basically like buzzsaw through everybody this year. Is this, how obviously you got to give them a lot of credit, right? They have the least attractive superstar that there is, right? So I think that's why they don't get more hype, right? Is that Jokic just isn't a big American guy, right? It's just not a typical media darling. So, always been kind of hard for the Europeans to get love in the NBA, especially one who's not as visually dynamic, let's say. Like, he's not as, he's got his kind of like demeanor, right, that people always kind of poke fun at. And they've got that famous photo of him when he's like 12 and he's big and fat. Yeah. So a very different superstar than like a LeBron or a Steph or Kobe, MJ kind of thing. But Phil, this year, did they have easy opponents in the playoffs?
I mean,
easier than is this, I don't know. It'd be hard to do this analysis, but compare their path to championship versus any team from the last 10 years. Do they have one of the easiest ones? Right. Because they didn't, there was who was the contender in the West besides them? Right.
But if you're one of the top teams, you should be playing like that. Doesn't matter who you play.
Totally.
Right?
You make it look like other teams suck. Yeah.
My point with all this is that Jokic is like a true MVP to me. I know Embiid won it, but this guy Embiid, we've seen it over and over again in the playoffs. It's almost you can't consider the playoffs for the MVP vote. But if you asked anybody on the planet to revote after seeing what they did in the playoffs, and for me, again, playoffs kind of has to play into that, because what is the point of having the greatest regular seasons ever every season, and then playing the way you do in the playoffs and not leading your team to the point where the best the Philadelphia 76ers looked all playoffs was actually the game he missed, and Harden was able to do his thing, right? That was the best they've looked when they played Boston. I think it was like game one. Yeah, game one. Yeah, is the best they've looked. That's not what an MVP should look like, right? Yeah. Jokic, though, is the true MVP when it comes to the value to his team. You take Jokic out of that lineup, and you better believe that team is not the same, right?
No. And I know a lot of people are clamoring that maybe Jamal Murray should get the Finals MVP and stuff like that, but I think that's
too hard to give it to Jamal. You can't.
It'd be impossible. Yeah,
No,
Jokic just had a phenomenal couple of years, and I think nothing would top it off better than him winning. And you always hate to see like really generational stars like that, like guys who are multi-time MVPs. It's really weird when they don't win. You know what I mean? It's really strange when they don't. It goes against
the whole purpose of an MVP is that
that's it, right?
So good that you are taking your team to the next level by winning championships. Yeah. Tom Brady won all those MVPs and he won all those championships.
Won all the championships.
So when it came to me,
and people, when with the whole argument of Jokic winning 3 in a row. And people saying that the writers don't want to let that happen because it would cement him as an all-time great, right? It put him up there with too many names, and that's why they gave it to Embiid. People invoked when Steve Nash won 2 MVPs in a row, and the third one, it was a similar situation. He was in the running, and they gave it to Dirk, but Steve Nash never won anything. Right? Love Steve Nash, great Canadian player, helped put us on the map, all that kind of stuff, but that guy never even got close to the finals. right? So never made it past second round, I think, with the Suns, with that Mike D'Antoni Suns team. So I think that's one of those situations where it's like this is good. Like, you want to see players with a big legacy. You want to see that legacy cemented. So, seeing the Nuggets, Jokic, like, absolutely just crush everybody this year, I think would be really satisfying, honestly, and would be huge for basketball. Obviously, it's great when the LeBrons add rings, Steph Curry's, all that kind of stuff. But it's like, listen, man, it's an international game. And to have a Serbian player, be the star for a couple years in a row and win the title, I think would be pretty massive, honestly.
I agree.
When's the last time there was a European Finals MVP?
I don't know. I
Dirk
even tell you that.
in 2011 when they beat the Heat.
It has to be, because
or Giannis when they won. Yeah, Giannis.
Oh yeah, well, okay, European.
Yeah, Giannis.
All right, yeah. All right, I always forget he's Greek.
Yeah.
No, it's true. I mean, that whole story is unbelievable still. Yeah, I think it ends tonight. Another thing, I wouldn't be surprised if somehow Miami found a way to win, but I would be, because again, you have a chance to close that out at home. Yeah, Mike Malone keeps saying, he said it a million times now. He said, we have to treat this game like we're down 3-1. I think he's playing a bit of mind games, not just with his team, but with the Heat by saying that, right? Because what else are you going to say, right? But I do agree with it. I do agree that they have to play as if their lives are on the line tonight. Anytime you're extending a series, is just playing with fire, and anything can happen. If you let Miami win 2 in Denver, then there's no one saying they can't win 3 in Denver. If that happens,
well,
I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a good game. I do.
Yeah, you don't want to lose game 5 and go back to Miami for game 6.
Miami's
right? It's one game at a
to
time.
Lose. Nothing to lose. Nobody expected them to be here. They weren't even supposed to win a game in this series, according to most. So now they can actually go out and play a freestyle of basketball tonight, where anything can happen. If some of their shooters get hot, that's the only time Denver's going to get in trouble. That's the only time.
One last time. Should we buy Jimmy Butler redemption moments? Now down to $15 for his blank redemption. Is this the time to scoop up a Jimmy Butler? Which we could have. You'd still be up five times from when we first said to buy it if you sold it today.
We're gonna let you tell us, LG, if we should be buying this or not.
No, redemptions, honestly, after the second round, redemptions kind of got boring. It just didn't, people, I think people were still going hard on LeBron, and that was obviously a mistake. But I think it's, we had a great playoff run this year where you had a lot of unexpected teams, especially the Heat, kind of make a run. So I think that's what made redemptions fun. When in any years where it's not, where there is a more expected path of results, I don't see this format necessarily working each time. Let's put it that way.
Can I tell a little Top Shot secret? And
a secret. Yeah,
this will only get out someone from Top Shots listening, or if there's a snitch in the house that wants to.
They listen. You don't think they listen? You think our parents listen? Top Shot people listen, guaranteed.
Okay, so the last 2 finals games, it's had this thing where there's an account called the Top Shot bot. Have you seen that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and that account randomly drops links where they're like, the first 50 people to click this get a free NFT. Okay. And they do it 30 times a game. They go nuts. All right. For anyone who tags them and the word NBA Top Shot this during an NBA Finals game, you will receive a free moment of either the Miami Heat or Denver Nuggets in your account. Okay. Or sorry, they'll send you a redemption link and you go and redeem it. But they also have these other tweets that they put up, where first person that click the link, first 50 people get to redeem a free NFT of a player who's playing in the finals.
Right.
Their last couple of games, if you open multiple windows and put that link in there, you get multiple moments. The usual.
Disgrace. Listen, sound the alarm. Fire Roham.
I am a seasoned veteran when it comes to these things, and there was no way I wasn't trying this. Do you remember when we would try and get back in the lines you weren't allowed to go in, and it would tell 100%. You at the end?
I still try.
Because you never know. You know that they don't cover their bases on most of this stuff half the time. And I figured for a base moment, a garbage base moment, there's no chance that they're going to cover their bases and prove this. So when that link, oh man, I shouldn't have told anybody. I hope people listen after the game. So I want to claim more.
This is what they're going to be tweeting tonight. Yes. Smash the redeem link to receive one of 500 NBA Top Shot moments. Retweet and tag a friend to celebrate the NBA Finals with the Top Shot this bot.
Or those ones right there.
Yeah,
that one right there. Okay, so that one you have up right now is a great example. You have literally only a few seconds to click on this, but if you copy it into a bunch of browsers Okay, it'll spin forever, and you just keep hitting try again. And when you come back later, there's like 3 or 4 moments in your account. So
wow,
they're all garbage. Like they're all terrible.
No, I like it. I like you're giving the hack away at the very end of the game. You know, what I mean? I think that's important. Yeah.
Well, because it ends tonight, I think, and I think people won't listen to this until it's too late. So
hey, we just talked at the start of the show. Some hardcores listen immediately, so they're going to get to the hour 30 mark and know.
And the real tip there is it will tell you to try again and say it didn't work. Continue to press the try again button until it tells you that link no longer works and has been redeemed completely. And I guarantee you refresh your account, you have a bunch of new moments in there, multiple new moments. So,
wow.
I got like the number 90 something doing that.
Phil, the extreme alpha, man. Oh my God.
The loophole master.
Did you see that somebody bought a John Morant Cosmic for $3,000?
I did. Who was that?
I don't know. There's some days where I read so many Twitter messages that I actually forget what came from who, but that's pretty wild, man. You know, because a long time ago, I don't know if I ever told you this or told many people this, that when Top Shot started to pick up steam when I started First Mint, I really wanted a John Morant Cosmic. Like out of all the moments that there were, I was cheapo, right? Yes. Like we're cheapo. So I was spending $4 on LeBrons, right? Like I was buying nothing. And maybe a couple, the biggest thing I'd spent actually was I'd bought the rookie debut set early on because I heard there was a Zion reward, right? And I still hold that Zion reward, and I sold the rest of that rookie debut set except for the John Morants. I still hold those 2 rares, like minted to 250. They're locked. Great. But as Top Shot started to take off, I started First Mint. I was like, out of everything on the platform, I want one of these cosmic moments, and I want a John Morant. And I started to like negotiate with holders in DMs, being like, hey, like, they're like, okay, you can buy one for me for $5 or $6K. And I was like, listen, I only have $1,200. Can you make that happen? And they're like, haha, no. And then like a week later was when Jonathan Bales bought that John Morant Cosmic #1 for $35,000. And that, blew up the whole thing. And I was like, well, forget it. I'm never going to get that moment. What's funny now is those prices are becoming realistic again. And the Cosmics, which are supposed to be the grails of the platform, are coming back down to earth in terms of price. I will say, listen, at the end of the day, you say what you want about Top Shot. There's still moments on there that are worth $3,000. So, and especially for, that's not necessarily the worst buy for someone like a John Morant, right? Who hopefully will be back to basketball at some point, not in the near future, but way later on. But still shocking to see that. It's still shocking to see that go down. Yeah, and you can buy a Jokic Cosmic $7,500, right?
Everything's shocking. We talked about that with Arsenic. I mean, you look at what you had, back in the day.
He's fired selling his account.
I did have a question actually from someone today, and I redirected them towards you. So I don't know if you heard from this person. I won't say their name, and I don't even know if they listen to the show. But they wanted to know, and someone I haven't talked to in forever. They wanted to know what was the first NBA Top Shot pack ever sold, and I didn't know the answer. I had no idea. Was it the early adopters? They were asking, is it early adopters?
I think if you can find this in the blogs, I think this is before there was a marketplace or there was anything. And I think they allowed transfers of moments. Like you could transfer the NFT, but there was no marketplace. So that's what a lot of the OG like CryptoKitty people were doing, is they were buying tons of packs and then selling them off market for ETH in the Discord. So I think what they did when they first launched it, which would have been almost exactly 3 years ago, like at the end of June 2020, is I think they released 3 packs at once. Early adopters packs, Cosmic, and maybe like a rare pack. And then shortly after that, they released hollow packs. And the price of the packs was like $200 for the hollow packs. And you got like 10 NFTs. So I think that's what was originally released. And it was the kind of thing where it's like nobody was really buying them. So some of the OGs were able to buy it, like literally drop 10 grand on them, which was a lot at the time. Like that's, obviously that turned out really well, but that was a lot to spend it on. And what's funny is if you go look at who those people were, like, I'm not even kidding, man. It's people that are like, we talked about this with Arsenic, Eric Snowfro, who like created Chromie Squiggles, who's one of the most like respected people in the space. That guy bought a bunch of those packs because they just, got the word that Dapper was working on something special as their next thing. And they came in to buy, because that's also how small the NFT community was then. That's like when Dapper released that, it was, the community was only a couple hundred people. So the people who were down with it, went over in there and bought it. So yeah, I think those were the original ones.
Okay. And this person also wanted to know, in relation to Flow, they wanted to confirm that NBA Top Shot was never, or NBA Top Shot never used a private ledger where
No,
all the
you can't.
trades recorded on flow is the question.
They should be. Yeah, they should.
Okay.
They should all be on
Always.
flow.
They've always
Yeah.
been, right? They've never used
Yeah.
a private ledger in terms
Yes.
of that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is your viewer / listener question of the week, LG. That I
Who's this viewer? Who is that? Who asked that?
A person by the name of Fetty.
Fetty.
Yeah, I redirected them towards you because I didn't know the answer.
What's up, Fetty? What's up, Fetty?
Good question. That's like throwing it back.
LG do set here. Okay, you know what? Here, I just went and found. I was right. Okay, I just went and found the blog. It is Phil. It's almost to the day 3 years ago.
Wow.
So let's take a
that.
look.
Is crazy.
It is the inaugural drop, is what it's called. And there's a few different blogs. So there's Welcome to the Beta, June 14th, 2020. Pretty much explaining like what's going to happen during the beta. Ironic. Welcome to the beta. We're still in beta. It's been 3 years. What's in packs? How to connect with our team. Here, you can hit up Usman Patel, Katie Tedman, Alan Carr if you want to talk with them. That's
damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the inaugural drop. So it was early adopters, which were I don't know, just a set that has like Karl Anthony Towns and Kristaps Porzingis and a few other guys in there. These were $9. They'll only be available 48-hour window, 1,350 of them. Rookie debut was the other pack. So these are the ones I ended up buying to get the Zion. So these were rares, rookie debuts, nice pink kind of font or motif there. $49 a pack, 1,125 of those. And the last one, it's cosmic packs. So they were $230, 1,470 of them, and you got 10 moments in each one.
Wow.
And here they are. Yeah.
Pretty exciting.
So that's what the first couple drops were, man.
Crazy.
And then they had, then it's all this. And then they, a week later, they released more packs, the For the Win packs, which were buzzer beaters. And then more early adopters and more cosmics. Yeah. Or no, actually, you know what? This blog is advertising that there are still early adopter packs and cosmic packs left. So in this blog, 5 days later, they're like, hey, there are still cosmic packs for $230 if you want them. Isn't that crazy that there's 5 days?
Man.
There's at least 5 days where they just sat there, right? And even today, the floor on the cosmics is more than double, the pack.
Yeah,
price.
no matter what, of course.
Yeah. So that's
wow.
That's pretty wild. Yeah. Well, thanks for writing in, Fetty. Hope that answers your question. Won't be the last pack dropped on Top Shot. I'll tell you that much.
No, there'll be one tonight on the app, which I hate, by the way. I love that you have the
I didn't
ability
even follow
to
that.
But
so what have they been doing? So at halftime,
yeah.
log into the app and there'll be secret packs being dropped there,
Not
right?
Secret. They actually tell you about it ahead of time, and they'll be like, there'll only
Okay.
be this many, and they'll be gone fast. But
right,
it's like I've already got my Dapper balance. I've already got everything set up there. I don't necessarily want the bank account I have linked to my Apple account to be charged, right? It's like that's not what I have set up with Top Shot. Like I buy with Balance and stuff like that. You can't even use Balance on the app yet. Obviously, you'll probably never be able to because of whatever agreements they have with Apple to have an app, is you have to use their payment service, right?
Yeah.
So I don't like it because that's not how I like. I'll use it if I have to, but
Dapper loses 30% of the
30%, man. That's
they
crazy.
pay 30%.
The concept is awesome. Don't get me wrong. Like the way you can just go on there and the click of a button on your app. Like even when you see the little banner saying packs are on sale now, you click on that, takes you to the pack page. 1 second later, you click and you're done. That's fantastic. But you're limited, right? So it's not the same. But I mean, I think it's huge. Like I think it's, I think people still buy them, obviously, right? They sell out every single time. So I don't really know what's in there. I don't ever go for them anymore.
Are you going to get? Oh, let's see what's on tonight. Then what are they selling tonight?
I don't know. I saw a post by community member Mustafa, who posted something.
Mo.
Yeah, Mo, Big Mo. He posted something about some packs for like $18.99 going on.
300 rare rip packs for $18.99 with 6 moments in each one.
You know what those really are, LG, right? Those are actually their attempt at putting all the spotlight moments out. Like we have packs, you're gonna have random stuff in there. It's all spotlight moments just to meet their quota.
That's kind of what bothers me about it, right? Is that it's like I love that. I will say I think Top Shot's done a good job during the playoffs. They're innovating. That Redemptions always say was really great. Using the app to drop packs, super fun. The little bot, that's cool. So they're definitely evolving. But the problem is that it's still all of these things go against the most obvious problem that everybody knows, which is supply, right? And we bang this drum every fucking week, but it's like that's to me is like it's so everybody knows that, every single buyer on Top Shot, even if they love it to death and they'll blindly defend it forever, they know there's oversupply. Every single person who works there knows there's oversupply. Every single person who left the product left because of oversupply. Every person who left and was like, oh, one more fuck up, oh, Roham's blah blah. No, it's because there's too much supply, right? It doesn't matter.
But
And
even
still,
these free giveaways, LG,
they
like the one I
cannot
keep
come up
getting,
with something that isn't just more supply. They have the leader. They have the burning thing right now where you can burn to get the LeBron block from the 2016 finals.
That's a shit show.
Random.
Did you see Veerman's post about that?
Yes, so the Top Shot scored isn't collected or isn't calculated properly, but that's a thing for whales. And yeah, they'll burn one LeBron legendary for another one. So yeah, I get it. That's cool, but that is supply on a tiny scale, and that's 1-for-1 supply, so it's neutral. It's nothing, right? It's not reducing anything. So it's something where it's like I can't wait for them to come up with something innovative that actually reduces supply in a really significant way. Yeah, not just hey, it's fun, but here's more supply. Right. So those halftime packs. Yeah, maybe I'll try and get one tonight because I like ripping packs, and maybe I'll get a rare one, whatever. But you're just adding more, and they'll need to come up with something that isn't just adding more supply.
Well, you're also trying to meet what you said you were going to do in the roadmap, right? That's why they're doing this. Like these moments that I'm getting, these freebies where I continuously press a button and keep getting a bunch of them. Yeah, they're all those they're those parallel moments of the same players that are, and they've got no other way of getting rid of them. Like they don't know where to put them. They've got so much.
They should not get rid of them at all. They should burn them. It's ridiculous.
I burn them right away, just so you know. They go right into trade tickets every single time. Okay, unless I can sell it for a couple bucks. If I can't sell it for $2 minimum, you know how I roll. It goes straight as a trade ticket.
Yeah,
right. Hoping that there's a big drop in the future, I can use trade tickets. So. Does that burn them? Does that officially burn them? Do we know that burns them for sure?
They burned the account with all the traded in moments recently, right? That was their big announcement. Right. So we're burning the locker room. That's right. Right. So that was a big deal. That was good. But again, it's like supply is not just reducing supply is not just, hey, we're going to burn a bunch of stuff that's already out there. It's not releasing new stuff. That's like it, it's like, oh, we're gonna burn all the stuff. Also, here's a bunch of new stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, everybody, oh wow, they burned 2 million moments in the locker room, so it's totally fine that they release tons of moments every single time you tweet them. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like that would be fine if it was a low supply, but there isn't. Like a new moment, like a moment's not that exciting anymore because it's might as well be a penny, right? It's worthless.
Please participate tonight, LG. Tweet them, NBA Top Shot this. Get your free moment. Yeah, get your free Cody Martin parallel. Number 5,000.
You want me to promote it? Is that what you want me to promote? You want us to put?
What I find funny is that some people were responding to clips that weren't even of the game. They were responding to like a clip of Jokic walking into the arena, and that account was like, "Yes, you're a winner. You got it. You got one." Like, hold on. You clearly said to tag moments, not guys walking into the arena wearing a jacket, and people were just like doing anything, and you were getting it right away.
I have a robot. I haven't opened. I didn't realize I had a pack. Hold on
what?
So I got a fit check pack, which is I think I'm on the Thunder. I'm on the Oklahoma City Thunder leaderboard, and you know why I am, Phil? It's because the best moment I have is the Kevin Durant debut, which I bought like a long time ago for $500, which peaked at like 30 grand. Didn't sell it, but I had locked that, and that puts you so far up the Thunder.
So I own like 200 SGA moments, and I'm not on that damn leaderboard.
Nowhere even close. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Listen, I told you. Listen, I told you about Top Shot many times.
You did. I am on the the SGA. Leaderboard. That's good.
How about this music?
LG.
This is good music. It's taking 3 years to get new.
We need Los's voice to take over here.
I don't even know what I'm getting.
Whoa, blue little light under.
Whoa. Rare, number 102. That's a reel.
Yeah, it's a reel.
It's a reel of OKC Thunder moments.
It's a real Phil D.
It's rare. Lou Dort.
Let's see the floor on that. What'd you just
win? Hold on.
Big money.
Average sale is $21. Ooh. Latest sales $15.
Thanks, Top Shot.
Okay, no, you know what? The low ask, there's only 6 listed. The low ask is $27.
Wow. I must say, when I
don't even know where I got that. Yeah.
It was just airdropped to you. When I go on the marketplace and I see some of these series ones, like the Dylan Brooks ones are like $9 or $10. I'm like, or even some of the rares are down like very low. I'm like, that's pretty sick though, because some of these I've looked at forever, and I'm like, I'm just never going to buy them. But when they've dipped to close to like $10, I'm like, okay, now I'm seriously, the more this dips, I don't really care, because I'm not looking to make money off of Top Shot anymore. It's really playing into the hands of people like me who've always wanted to buy certain things and couldn't really do it, right? Or just didn't. I didn't want to invest in or spend money on something that.
It's good you didn't,
right? So now we're heading in a direction where I can really fill up that collection of things that I want, and that's what I've been doing. I actually recently also bought. This is crazy. I finally sold something on the Aussie Rules Football, the AFL Mint.
AFL, yeah.
Because they opened their marketplace, right? And whatever free pack I won, everything I had in there was actually valuable. Like, it was worth like a decent chunk. And then I started buying all the Western Bulldogs, which is a team that I support. I started buying all the moments that I could find. I did that somewhere else too, where I started buying. I think I went on Candy because the prices are ridiculously low for some stuff. And I bought some of the moments of the Jays plays of the week this year for like 90 cents. I was able to get a tremendous serial on a Dalton Varsho and Danny Jansen's game-winning hit and things like that for like 85 cents, number 13 serial number. Like, it was crazy, man. Like, holy shit. So good times.
I don't think that's the worst. Like that would be fine on Top Shot if they didn't mint things to 60,000 and they hadn't oversaturated it.
Yeah,
but I do think, like, listen, as a real collector, I think it's totally fine that some of the stuff you can go on and spend like $5 and make a little collection. I think that's good.
It should be
a bad thing at all.
That's right.
So even I'm looking at some of these AFL prices, like, they're like 90 cents, $1.
There's not too much. Well, they're really low actually for some, and some are mint. It's only 200. And I was able.
The commons are really low.
I was able to buy like a number 9 of a player for like $1.25 out of 200. So,
and that's fun. You're not expecting much.
I just feel there's not too many people on that platform. That's probably why, right? But I don't care, because again, I'm just past the days of joining things trying to make a buck. You know what I mean? For me, it's just like they'll just sit there and I'll own them, right? So it's all good.
Nice.
It's fun. You never know what comes out of it. Another for those who didn't see, another free pack on La Liga Golazos today, where you can claim is it an Atletico Madrid pack? I think so. But they continuously give free packs there. I've sold a bunch of the stuff that I've gotten for free. So free packs available. Check it out. There's a free pack, 1 per collector, available on that platform. And you do whatever the hell you want.
Wow. How much are they paying you? Wow. Phil loves La Liga, man.
No, I'm giving free packs information here, right? So everything you're going to get in there is worth probably $1. So if you're selling it, you're getting 95 cents. But still something, right? So why the hell?
Should we move on to hot take of the week? We got like no responses for this one. Maybe this one's a little too extreme, or maybe it was a little too wordy, but we only got like 6 responses for this.
Okay, well, someone's going to win out of those 6.
Someone's going to win. Also, Mathmatech, who won last week, still hasn't messaged me, even though we chat like a couple times a week. He still hasn't realized that.
Come on, man. Send that DM. You're running out of time.
Come on, bro. Okay, so hot take this week. You have to pick one UFC champion, past or present, that Phil D can last 2 minutes with in the octagon. Who is it and why? Phil, do you have an answer to this? Do you have your own personal answer to this? Is there anybody you'd want to take on?
Who do I hate, like, with a passion? Well, no. I mean, if we're being real here, we're not just talking shit. I mean, I think Tandy said this, but I'm not going to pick Tandy just because he didn't give any hope in the world that I would last more than 5 seconds.
Someone's got to believe in you a little bit.
Someone's got to believe in me if you're going to actually put this, because I did I wasn't a big fighter in hockey, but my last year ever playing competitive hockey, I got a ton of fights because that was my role on the team. And that's basically all I did. So a UFC fighter I'd love to beat the living crap out of.
That's not the question. Is who could you survive for 2 minutes with? Not somebody you'd love to beat up.
one of the big guys, man. Someone I could outrun. Like, I could just run around the ring like I'm friggin' maniac and just dodge and like climb off the fence.
Dude, listen, I was right there. The octagon is way smaller than you think.
No, I know.
Being that close, I was like, I didn't realize how small this is. Like, it's tiny.
Man, that's tough.
Really close to the other person.
Jesus, I'm trying to think of the slowest guy I can think of.
Let's go through the answers. Okay, so first answer. If we're being honest, the answer for 99.9% of us, including Phil, is 0. A trained UFC fighter would knock your wind out with just about any strike, or submit you in less than 5 or 10 seconds. That was from Tandy.
No, false. You wouldn't even touch
boring me. Boring answer, Tandy. That's the
very
obvious
boring
one.
Yeah. You know what, Tandy? You're not on the list of guys I'm going to fight with at the first celeb event. You're on my hit list now. I'll challenge you to a fight.
I'm just giving him a gift back.
I'll show you how long I can last in that ring.
Whoa, Phil.
Come
Phil
find out,
versus
son.
Tandy. Phil versus Tandy.
That's right. Let's do. He's not my number one choice though, but
next one. Brendan Peter Big Brown Schaub, age 40. Yes, this fighter is fairly old and not in shape as other fighters, which boasts well for our man Phil D. The main reason for picking this fighter is for his podcast. Surely Phil can strike a pre-fight deal with Big Brown, which allows Phil D to escape with his life and possibly get the W in exchange for Phil coming on the golden hour and dropping his trademark "whoa," which sends the podcast viral. Phil D also gets the UFC nickname Llama King with a belt for the podcast champ of UFC.
Dude. Who the hell has that many characters on Twitter? Can you tell me?
It's two tweets. It was actually two tweets.
First of all I heard was golden hour and Big Brown or something like that. That alone is kind of weird, but I do like that concept because you did give me a chance in the fight. So I'm going to keep that one in mind. All right. What else have we got in our 500 responses? Only pick the best ones.
McGregor. They'd probably have a beer. Phil would have something to say, talk trash about other fighters, pose for a selfie, then get submitted in said selfie. So you'd take a selfie while Connor submits you. That'd be pretty funny.
I like Connor, so that's tough. Well, okay, I like that's
Next
a good
one.
answer.
Ben Askren. He's a bitch.
I know exactly who said that.
Yeah.
Okay,
next one. This is a bit dark, but I think Phil could last against either Kevin Randleman or Evan Tanner at the same time, even.
At the same time? What is this? A three-way freaking bro? Why is this dark?
Okay, last one. He could last 2 minutes versus CM Punk for sure. Or hell, maybe even one of the Diaz bros. They are likely to mock him for the first 2 minutes before they even swing. Wow.
Fuck, you know what? You were the winner until you said the Diaz brothers. I like the Diaz brothers, and I would not stand a chance against those two freaking guys. Those guys are street fighters, man. Forget being trained in MMA. Those guys, you don't hide and run from those guys. Like you got to man up. I get killed right away. CM Punk, whoever said that, if you stopped at CM Punk, you're the automatic winner, but you kept going in the wrong direction.
No,
that's called like
that's it. That's all there is.
Okay, that's like in curling when the person gets the rock in the middle, and then their next rock like rocks it right off, and that's it. Game over. Okay, so I'll go back.
Big Brown.
I like this. I like the one with the golden hour and the Big Brown.
That is from Jump Shoot.
Okay, cool. We know Jump Shoot.
Who wrote
Big
a
shout
massive
out
paragraph
Shoot,
for this one. Shout out Jump Shoot.
Shout out to all those characters on Twitter, dude. That's
who has it's a two-parter. So he wrote 2 tweets and he's got the wieners as his PFP. So there you go.
Big Brown and golden hour. That could be taken in the wrong direction in a hurry.
He honestly wrote this like you would. This is how I imagine you'd answer this question.
You mean
like with all?
Are you talking about like the videos I do, LG, where I pan from like one end to the other all the time?
I think also the way that you like put apostrophes for things.
Oh man, I don't use apostrophes for anything.
The golden hour.
I still don't know what it means, but I do like the context of it. So yeah, I'll pick that one.
Congrats,
Jump Shoot.
Jump Shoot. Congratulations, you won. You won this. Why does my camera keep doing this? Phil D, anything else to say? Anything else you want to add before we wrap up today?
Don't have anything to say, and if I do, I think we badly need a Twitter Spaces of some kind where we just rumble with everybody, like a rapid fire. All right, come on up, say what you have to say. I don't give a shit what it is. We're gonna control what, and I want to throw people off the stage. Nothing pleases me more than having someone up and then launching them right off the stage. So I think we need one of those. I feel like people need to reconnect a little bit. I know there's still these consistent spaces like, Coffee with Captain and things like that. Okay. But if you listen to those, it's all this, it's shout out to those guys. They're still doing their thing and they have hundreds of listeners still. It's great. But it's kind of just like the same things back and forth. And I feel like it's that little community.
They do a good job, but all of it's the same. They're all talking about the same thing. So this week it's Bitcoin NFTs and, next week it'll be whatever else is hot, which is fine. There's a huge market for that. But I think it's like, I don't know. It's not something I think up our alley to do that.
I think people just need a platform to kind of let loose and kind of maybe ask questions.
Speaker's corner.
What the hell is going on here? Right.
Yes, exactly.
Why is it so quiet and things like that? Right. So maybe we do that really soon and get the community fired up again and take it back to the old as if I've got something to say. Right. So
I wish we had some exciting pack drops because we used to do Club Cold Brew, which is always a great way to get that going.
I do want to give a breaking update on our good friend Jabril. So for those who've been listening to the First Mint, and we can end it on this, LG. For those who've been listening to the First Mint, there was a gentleman who came on one of my spaces called I've Got Something to Say.
Mhm.
And he, long story short, he lives in Nigeria, okay,
Mhm.
in a poor part of the country. He
Mhm.
claims to be a tremendous soccer player, and he wanted the First Mint to help him get a trial with a professional soccer team somewhere in the world. Doesn't care where, doesn't care who. He just wants to show that he can play soccer.
Let the man play.
And a lot of people supported him. And then all we ever asked of him was a video of him playing soccer. So the next time you go to the soccer field, get one of your buddies with your iPhone to film you playing soccer. We just want to see if we're wasting our time here. Unfortunately, Jabril was never able to do this. And then he declared to me recently that his soccer career is over out of nowhere. Okay, it is done. The few videos he sent to me was like,
come on,
he was like
man,
schooling
Jabril.
these like 4-year-olds in that one video he sent. We could barely see what was going on. And then the one kick he took sailed like 5,000 feet over the net. So we kept telling him that's not sufficient. Like, we want to see your skills, dude. Like, we want to back you. Imagine the story that we would be the ones to help you get a trial and you became a professional player. It was a tremendous setup. But recently, Jabril messaged me, and outside of accusing me of forgetting about him, he said that his soccer career is completely over. It's not going to happen. That he is now an architect. Okay. He sent me a million pictures.
Sent you mock-ups. Yeah.
Crazy like mansions. I'm like, dude, you did this? He's like, yep. And then I knew what was coming next. He said he would love to come do this in Canada. Right. So, at the end of the day, I do feel for them. I know a lot of people in certain countries obviously don't live the best lives, and their dream is to come to countries like the United States and Canada, where they feel that they'd have much better opportunities. So I definitely respect that side of it, but unfortunately we didn't get the fairy tale ending that we wanted, and that was to get Jabril, at least get him a trial of some kind with somebody, right? We weren't able to accomplish that, but anyways, he's still out there. He still shouts out the First Mint. I know he was a big part of our community for a couple of weeks there when he kept coming on the spaces. We had a lot of trouble keeping him focused on those spaces because every time our other friend Gina would come on there, he would actually ask people if he can have a private conversation with her. And we're like, dude, are you serious right now? In front of this whole audience of like 300 people, you want to have a private conversation? Like, dude, focus here. Okay, focus. We want you to play soccer. So anyways, the dream is over, but Jabril remains someone we stay in contact with, and we wish him all the best. And that is all for this week.
Wow. Shout out Jabril.
Shout out
Hope
Jabril.
we see you again soon, bro.
And if I ever need a house built, I will call you.
I don't know.
Hey, as long as they look like the ones he sent in those pictures, I'll call him.
I think building a house is a little more complicated than just some good renderings, but yes, for sure. Maybe one day Jabril will build us a house. Phil D, thanks for a great show. Everybody else, have a fantastic week. Thanks as usual for listening, tuning in to the First Mint.